There we go.
Yo.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another week of Doctors and Dungeon Masters. I am Kelly Breivik, a PhD student at UWM in Plan H of the English department, and I am the Dungeon Master.
Hi.
That took forever.
Should I give the abridged version? No. Hi, I'm Corey Hernai. I am a PhD student here also at UWM, and I'm in the Plan C program, which is creative writing, specifically poetry. And I am playing Franz, the rogue.
Hi, I'm Leah. I'm a PhD candidate.
Whoop, whoop, whoop!
What? In the anthropology department, I am a cultural anthropologist studying games and gamers, and I am playing Ash, otherwise known as Alabaster Crane, the Bard.
Bard fighter?
Eric,
Bard fighter.
PhD, English, Plan H, Media, mild complaint. Why, when I look up serious, even though I am following this channel on Twitch, it does not show Serious Sam and Serious Sam 3, and the channel is Serious Gaming. Like, it should show Serious Play if I'm following it, right? That's probably what I'm looking up. But okay.
But no,
Maybe Twitch
not
doesn't
for
follow
you.
the Facebook creeper rules. Where if you think about
Yeah.
a toaster, you have ads everywhere for toasters.
That or we're not giving in to, like, Twitch Premium or whatever.
Mm.
And so, like, all the other serious name channels that are paying that money get the search bar status.
Most people aren't paying money to Twitch. Just Twitch is taking a cut.
I'm just saying.
But I just...
But we're not making any money, so there's no money
Yeah.
to take. So we don't get a
Well,
money
no,
on that
they're
level,
making
you know.
money off of us because ads play before
That's
our
true.
thing.
That's
So
true.
you're welcome.
So can we get a recap of what happened last week, or in the past few weeks? What have these two been up to in general? And then, Ash, you could tell the crew as you're waking up what happened to you.
Hey, we saved your ass.
So for the record, I'm not telling them what I actually did.
That's fine. That's fine. You can tell them whatever you want.
Yeah, we just know the consequences of whatever you were trying to do.
Yeah.
Hey, bird. So there was a bird in the window.
Oh.
Forget that you guys can't.
So I was with them for 2 days, right? Because there were 3.5 days in between, and I had like
pretty much.
okay.
Yeah.
You missed the zoo episode.
Oh, that's so sad.
And actually, you were captured during the time that there was a zoo episode, so I couldn't give you any details about the zoo or the circus, but
Yeah, there was a.
I
Zoo
wanted to.
Yeah, so I killed a tiger. Guy tried to take me to like exotic claims court.
Why did you kill the tiger?
Because it was like killing people. It, like mauled a guy's hand.
That does not that he did not die. Mauling a guy's hand does not mean it's eating
He
people.
was on his way out the door
Yeah.
before we showed up.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Like,
He-
how do you think
should
he
not
stopped
have-
eating the hand?
That's fair. That's fair.
So
No.
that was the thing. And
And then we went shopping.
oh yeah, you missed the shopping episode.
Oh, sad.
I can cast fear now.
Great.
He's got a candle that can
probably
cast
bad.
fear. Yeah, so we got some candles that can cast
That's what I
spells.
should have done. Should have bought some shit.
Mhm.
So
Um,
much money.
We got
If you want, we could have a one-off shopping episode, so we don't have to do another hour of shopping.
we did.
That's right.
I don't know. You just gave us
I-
a shit ton more gold.
I have a cursed shield that when you put it on, it doesn't leave your arm. So that's just hanging out because I don't want it. But they were like, you have to buy it because it's stuck to your arm. It was a real crummy. We were that wasn't like the real mobster.
That was
That
one of my
like
favorite
one.
moments.
Exactly like something.
It's actually a really good shield. So now we're on a mild mini quest to figure out how to remove the curse because it's a really good shield.
funny.
But
Oh man.
I similarly got a cursed weapon.
But he found out
Oh
later.
man,
Twice in a
this is
row.
what happens when I leave the little people to themselves.
It was a rapier that lets me triple my crit dice. So instead of rolling
Jesus
twice,
Christ, but what does it do to you?
the last roll, like total roll, is reflected on me. So I get like,
up that fucking constitution, boy. Jesus.
I mean, yeah, I took
A lot.
half of my health with one hit. It was, and then I crit again, and I was like, fuck this. So mission to decurse these items is that takes forefront. Hope you got that planned out.
I mean, good luck finding someone who could cast a level 7 spell, or whatever greater.
I mean, yeah,
or,
you guys can do
No.
it when we get
Yeah.
to level 7.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, when I get to level 7.
or when your brother does. He's a paladin.
Hey, brother, level up. Shouldn't he be a higher level?
I mean, he as a paladin maybe not because he got magic the same time you did. So it's not like he was in the army before you. He's just better at hitting things with swords.
Paladins do that.
Yeah.
So after our shopping episode, we were hanging out in the thing, and a little monkey or something. What
It was a
it?
ferret.
Ferret, yeah. My
ferrets.
A little
Yep.
ferret came and told us that you were in trouble, and we had already heard rumors of the fountain underneath this park because I tried to go there to hang out while spying on the mayor's wife, and they were like, "You can't be here." And I was like, "Okay."
It was
So
not sexual, everyone. FYI.
and
Are
so
you sure?
so we snuck over a fence. Franz was terrible at it. He failed like 3 or 4
I know.
times trying to climb the fence.
That was
While
bad.
there was a guard walking around, so we really were Metal Gear Soliding it. And then we got under the fountain, and then I turned into a giant bugbear, and
Yes.
with no tact, no stealth required, we just started banging down doors because dogs were barking. And then we killed like 1 Inquisitor, and then we like banged down another door, which we thought was going to be like this little office with like a single Inquisitor guard, because like the way it sounded when we were listening at the door was like one person like coughed and like then tried to shush themselves. And so, but it ended up being a room with a bunch of Inquisitors.
Of course it was.
So we played it pretty smart. Like both of us, we got very high initiative rolls. So I made Franz invisible before they even saw Franz, and then I just bolted. And they all chased after me, or at least a couple chased after me, and then Franz like chased the other one and cast fear on them, and they were like running away, and then he was stabbing them, and then they died. And then I was able to... So we kind of like split the party for the fight, but it ended up working out in a really good way. And then we met...
That sounds like fun.
We saved you, which is funny also because we walked by where you were being held on our way to get into the second fight, and we didn't realize it was you. We were acting a little too quickly without really checking our surroundings. It was like I go back to the door that we passed earlier, and it's like, oh, wait, by the way, there's bars on it, Eric. Not like full bars, but like a little slot. It was like, oh, I guess I'll look in. You see Ash. It's like, oh, God. The whole time. We could have avoided like a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of gold, so... And but anyway, so there was a changeling also who was going to impersonate the mayor, who was actually imprisoned with me. His name is Uyang, during when I was captured by the Inquisition a long time ago. And so a nice little reunion there.
Yeah.
Tears were shed. He's going to go off in his own way. He's lived a hard enough life. We're going to help him, get out of here, and then we'll never see him again.
All right.
So what was Ash up to?
Ash checked out the fountain, found out how to get in, went back to the Thieves Guild. They were all like, we don't give a shit, so he left.
Yep, sounds about right.
And then he got, oh man, what is he going to tell you? I guess this is now in character, right?
Yeah.
Shit. I should be like groggy and in pain.
Yeah.
How much HP do I have?
Oh my God, he's awake!
You've long rested at this point, so like you look roughed up, but mechanically you're back to normal.
Gotcha. My hair's just a little more askew.
Yeah,
usual.
you have
Got
some
some bruises.
bruises, some cuts.
Woke up from a rager, pretty much.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Dude,
Oh my God,
Ash,
he's
you've
right.
missed so much.
It's good to have you back.
What
It
happened?
smells like my house.
That's
Yeah.
because it is.
We're in the rumpus room.
He laughs.
And these are former
and then-
Inquisitors, by the way. You can say hi to them. Forgot their names.
Oh, I forgot you brought them back.
Yeah.
Because have you?
Kingsley went on that mission. Remember?
Yes, you're right.
So this is all up to Kingsley.
So don't get
Right.
mad. These were other prisoners with you when we got you. We killed some Inquisitors, and these were also prisoners, and we helped them out by freeing them, and we're getting them fake IDs so they can leave.
We've gotten them fake IDs.
Oh yes, get out of here.
No, we're waiting. We're waiting on Kingsley.
Why?
Because they need money to get out of here.
Alright,
And all their
alright.
stuff's at home.
Yes, we're helping them out a little bit. They're good guys now, I think. Right, guys?
I wouldn't call us good because we hurt a lot of people, but we're getting better.
I mean, they're good guys like we're good guys.
Yeah, we're good
Don't
guys.
lump me in with them. That's.
And that
really
was
slight
the
character.
guy speaking who hasn't really talked that much
Mhm.
up until that point. It's always been Jin talking.
So
Right.
what happened?
Would you mind filling us in on how you ended up down there in that cell?
Got in over my head.
How so?
Walks down there. Didn't make my stealth check.
Sorry,
No, I was
quite
just
catch your drift.
thought that I'd go look around because I was bored, and then got caught because there
You were
too
bored.
many Inquisitors.
You were bored, so you went to a place that was crawling with Inquisitors. Can I roll an insight check on that?
Yes.
Yep.
Do I believe her?
That's
Okay,
going to
sorry.
be a 13.
Natural 20.
So if you would like to describe to
Yeah, no,
what
sure.
she
Let
would
me
know.
let me roll this. I feel like I'm gonna roll this with disadvantage because I feel like that is where I currently my
But what do
character
you-
currently is for the 13 over here.
Okay.
For the nat 20, it doesn't fucking matter. Oh, I rolled 2 19s. Damn
Okay.
it! It's so sad. You totally believe him. So he was bored, and that is why he went down there mostly.
Alright.
And also, there were not too many Inquisitors, and that was a totally a lie.
Okay. There weren't many Inquisitors? Oh, whatever. You can send me a message on Facebook with more details if you would like, but suffice to say, I don't fully believe you.
No. So you shouldn't believe him. He is not telling you the whole truth.
Yes.
Part of the reason why he went down there was because he was bored.
Alright.
But something else happened that he is not telling you.
Okay. So, I'll just ask, so what was your time like down there? You were pretty roughed up.
Well, they beat me a lot, as Inquisitors do.
Were they looking for any particular kinds of information? Did you tell them about us?
Were they looking for any particular kinds of information?
They definitely
We
were,
didn't get to
but it
that
was
part.
mostly like, why are you down here?
Hmm.
Who are you affiliated with? How did you find out?
Did I tell them?
No.
Okay.
That was part of like the you've been in too many frat houses and beat down.
Ash don't crack!
Yeah.
Ash don't crack.
Pretty much,
Exactly.
because and the thing is, like, just to describe, because I didn't really describe it all that much either, just based on their experiences with in game with Inquisitioners.
Yeah.
These particular ones didn't seem willing to go as tortury of a route as most Inquisitioners are willing to.
Yeah.
They were mostly underlings that were just beating the shit out of you trying to get information. And when you didn't do anything, they were like, well, guess we gotta kill him now. Like, what are we gonna do? Not really the brightest bunch of the Inquisition.
Alright. So, I guess, yeah, they were asking why I was down there. Didn't know who I was, which still surprises me a little bit, considering they're working with the guard.
Well, the thing is, it's maybe the god now, but the Inquisition often from all around, right? So they might not know the high society quite.
And also, based on what you said, they just weren't very good at torturing people. Like, your time in the Inquisition, like, when you were caught, you've told me a little bit about that.
Yeah, they killed me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he didn't really get captured, I would say. They
I
just
mean, they-
stabbed on sight and
No,
then
they
ran
chained
away.
me up and then they killed me. It was a whole spectacle.
But it happened within like a 4-minute period. He wasn't tortured.
Oh.
He wasn't captured.
Sorry, Leia had a completely different idea about what happened to you.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
fine.
So like, I'm actually like,
It was like
I don't
2
believe
minutes.
you because like the fact that you're alive.
No, they were dumb. They kept me alive for like 2 days and let me get a ferret out to you. I did a spell, and they didn't notice.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
They were a little easy to kill, really. It was only us two, and we somehow took out, what, like 4 of them?
Yeah, we took out Captain something or another.
Oh, I don't think that captain was actually a captain. I'm actually.
At that point, like, the 2 Inquisition people look at you in surprise. They're like, what?
Someone slit someone. Oh, I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah.
Someone slit. He actually says that out loud. That was completely in character. Someone slit one of the guys with the badge that everyone's afraid of. They slit his throat while he was sleeping while I was there.
Who is someone?
One of the Inquisitioners did it?
One of the Inquisitioners killed another one of the Inquisitioners that had a badge of high rank. He will describe said badge.
Well, so...
Looks like there's some trouble within the ranks then, eh? Would you all agree?
Jin and Yan, they nod their heads, but they're still a little shaken, because, you would actually recognize, Jin, because you followed her. That was the one that you followed home.
Okay. Cool.
Because, and you only recognize her because, like, you saw her take her robes off and her mask off when you got home.
Because I was being a creeper. Okay.
Yeah. And she looks a little shaken because, she was afraid of the captain, that you saw got murdered, and so she was given that fear to whoever was pretending to be the captain, and so she goes, well, he was the one who wanted us dead, the captain that you killed, that killed the
Captain B.
Yeah.
Captain B.
So
Yeah.
wait, so the one who was pretending to be a captain, he did not look like the guy who got murked in his sleep.
I mean, we tend to
Oh
not know
yeah,
what
the
we
masks.
look like.
Okay, yeah. So you couldn't tell the difference.
We couldn't, but he knew all of his codes in order to.
I know, like.
But
half
didn't his
Inquisition.
voice sound a little different?
And let's see if she could.
Were you paying attention?
Do you really want to question your commanding officer? Like, I feel like that's something you don't
Yeah.
really do in the Inquisition.
Well, perhaps.
not
but
just
I'm just
that.
wondering if she
First
had
of
inklings
all-
of
But we
suspicion.
were also really scared, and as you know, we were looking to get out, so we were just trying to lay as low as possible and not question.
Sure.
So.
Go ahead.
And also, she's just not. I mean, I followed her all the way home.
That's quite.
What? You
Not
were wandering
good.
the streets in the
That
Inquisition
sounds
garb
awful.
and
It's
That
every
sounds
word
like a
that comes
lot
out
of-
of your mouth.
Victim blaming over here.
No.
You were wandering the streets in those clothes?
And you
Maybe-
just
Yeah.
followed
You were
a girl
wandering the
home.
streets in those clothes,
A
exactly.
frat boy
Maybe-
followed a girl home
Maybe
at night.
powerful men just shouldn't follow girls home. Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I can't keep it together. Oh man. No, I wanted to see if you'd lead me to the hideout, which you did, which really was just a glorified map room. Did you guys see those plush couches?
They didn't get to that part.
We were on a particular mission to get you out, and once we got you, and we got
And
these
almost
idiots,
1,000 gold.
and all the gold, yes, that was pretty nice too. Once we got the things we came for and things we didn't come for, we bolted, because we were like, there could be Inquisition coming soon, so, we didn't
That's
want to
fair.
spend too long there.
Yeah, we fucking dipped.
Oh yeah, what was the contraband that we found?
Oh yeah, what was it? You.
I think I literally
Yeah,
just
you
wrote
would've-
contraband. Oh, the 3 rings.
Yeah.
Three
That
rings.
was.
Do you,
Well, more
can
right
you
now, I gotta go
identify
Hades.
magical items?
Well, more right
Because
now, I gotta
I'm
go
just
Hades.
noticing, based
Okay.
on our experiences trying to
I'm
purchase these
sorry.
items, we have a very difficult time understanding what.
Done magic in front of you guys yet?
I don't think so.
I'm trying. I think no.
You
You
play the
talked
magical-
about it.
But you
Yeah.
played the magical. You play the magical
True.
instruments.
'Cause when we were,
You teach
um,
Oh,
people-
well,
at the
there's the
ball,
pan flute.
We
yeah, but
talked
so
about
to
the
me that
character.
means she maybe understands them a little better if she's teaching other people about it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about magical items. I'm not necessarily.
Yeah.
Can you understand what these things do? And I'm gonna pull out my sigil that looks like a sickle moon or whatever that we bought from the
Nope.
guy.
I actually don't think I can do that for Jose's.
Well, I really want to figure out what this does. Franz, hold still, and I'm going to try to use this.
I'm not gonna hold still because I know the power of these things. I'm dip setting. That was
Sadly.
No, that's fine. That's gonna be a
So-
12.
Kelly, I'm going to just try to use the sigil that I got from the religious symbol.
Yes.
I'm just gonna try to
the
use
one
it on
that
Franz.
didn't that you bought but it didn't do anything yet because you didn't roll like a good enough check or something.
Something like that. I'm just
Okay.
gonna try to use it on Franz.
How so? Like, are you
I'm-
just the power of Christ compels you style?
Yeah,
like,
basically, like
okay.
do something.
Okay. Roll a religion check.
All right.
Oh,
Nat 20 was
mercy.
my first roll today.
Uh-huh.
Blue dice, I believe in you. 9 plus 1. 10.
I rolled a 12 dex saving throw
Um,
to dip out of the way.
You dip very readily. And you do that, and you feel like I don't know quite how you feel like a tingling, like it's like I want to do something, but you're using me wrong, bro. So it doesn't quite do something, but you
Maybe
feel.
it's like invisibility, like you have to cast it on yourself, and I'll point it towards myself and try to use it.
I'm
Do
gonna, behind
do
the
an Arcana
futon,
check.
I'm gonna be like, stop pulling a Franz.
So
Alright.
Ash's hair is like all over, and he's
Oh my god.
dirty and grimy, and he's looking at you like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
You try it and it's the same thing. It wants to do something, but you're not using me
well.
right.
Well, if you ever figure out you know people here. Do you know anyone who knows how to identify these kinds of things? Oh, never mind. You're probably just going to say the same people who everyone else says who've already been through, and I'll put it away.
I'm gonna turn to the Inquisitors
So Ash just says nothing.
and like, hey, these rings that we found. Know anything about them?
I mean, no more than I knew last week.
I can't remember if I asked.
Let's not put them on. 'Cause they
Uh,
might not come off.
That'd be a bad idea. Can I roll like a Arcana insight?
Well, no, you
Did I? I can't remember
what's
what
it
I
called?
did with the rings.
Here, I'm setting it in the group chat. Because there's 3 rings, and you would have if you had them, you would have been able to kind of quote unquote attune to them, so they're like an attunement item.
Well, okay.
So
The adventures.
So 3 rings.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
3 of
Adventures
us.
one's great.
We should
Yeah.
each get one of these rings.
yeah.
One of the rings gives you AC and saving. Okay, so one of them makes you a little tougher. One of them makes you a little tougher against big boys.
The first one's my favorite.
Wait, so
The
the ring of
Yeah.
the ring of the giant slayer says size of very small. Does that mean the ring is
Well,
small, or does that mean you
the-
have to be very small to
No,
use
I
it?
think the size of the ring is very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am most interested in the AC one or the Grammarian.
What's the grammarian do?
You can change one letter of a spell, and to change the effect. So cause fear can become cause bear.
Yeah.
So I would say that you probably wouldn't use that because you don't cast magic.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to understand from the perspective
Uh-huh.
of the player right now.
Yeah.
If I don't know that you do magic, I
Mhm.
would say that this one. I would say in character that this doesn't seem particularly useful to you because it modifies spells. But if I do know in character that you do cast magic, then I wouldn't say that. I know as a player that you're a bard and that the bard is a spellcaster class, but I don't know I don't know what I know as a character right now. Have you cast spells in combat with us before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and actually the only combat that you cast spells for, they were in here for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did
So-
talk about. So when we were we were at the ball.
So he knows.
I
He
know.
knows.
Okay.
So I
That
don't know
I
because I
have
wasn't there at the
done
ball.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's fair for me to say that
Yes.
you don't know how to cast spells. Now, if you
Yeah.
want to correct me,
Yeah.
you can.
I need to check myself. Sorry, guys.
I'm just like, I'm looking at the Grammarian. It's so good. It's just I can't find much use for it.
My favorite was someone used it. They were up against a bunch of giant worms, giant purple worms or whatever it is, and they instead of casting sleep, they cast sheep to turn it into a giant sheep. But because it's a worm, it never used legs before, so it couldn't walk.
So it becomes like a polymorph.
I mean, it was just a sheep for like 1d6 rounds, so they just kept hacking at it while it tried to make like strength saves to get up on its feet, but it kept failing.
So my problem is that currently, out of character, there are 2 Inquisitioners standing in the room right now.
Yes.
So when he says you don't cast magic spells, so this wouldn't be good for you, I don't know if Ash would correct him.
The thing
Sorry.
to remember from maybe your perspective is that they know that we're spellcasters.
They know
and-
that y'all are spellcasters.
Yes.
But he didn't cast any spells in front of them or give away any information. So currently, if these cats are actually going to betray us,
Mhm.
then right now,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't necessarily know. Like, he
Yep.
still has one up on him.
Yep.
So I don't think he'd, as much as he wants that ring, I don't think he'd say anything.
Well,
You could always do tradesies later.
True fact.
well, I would say that, well, as much as I like casting magics, I would really like to be a little more, a little harder to hit, if that's okay. I would take either of the AC rings, because I'm often in the front lines in these battles that we're doing, and I get hit a lot, and like.
Yes, you
I
do.
show maybe a scar I have or something, or I just materialize a scar where I have been stabbed before. Like
I love it.
it doesn't show on the outside, but I feel it on the inside.
I love it.
So could I have the one of protection?
Yeah.
You sure? You seem a little.
I'll take the
upset.
grammarian and try to be inventive with it.
I don't know.
You've got a few.
I mean, I have. If
I
my.
put the ring on.
Mm-hmm.
Does it do anything crazy to him?
Nope. It's safe. It's. I know I betrayed your trust with those 2 cursed items, but to be fair, they were literal slaves in the place where you bought them
And
from.
we're going
so.
to head back and remedy that. Don't you worry.
Uh-huh.
Are we?
I am.
Are we really?
The only problem is there's 50
Ring
mafia
of
guys down there.
Giant Slayer. Are we gonna go after
Okay,
some
so let me go
giants
ahead and put
sometimes?
this in
I mean,
my-
it's not. It's just any creature that's large.
Am I attuned
size
to my
large.
ring of X-ray vision?
It's like the armor
no, I
ring,
think
but
I said
worse.
that.
Okay.
Am
Am I attuned to my
Right?
breastplate of protection from good and evil?
Nope.
Fine,
Okay, so
whatever,
this
I'll
is the
take that.
only
This is the
item.
only. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the cost for me keeping your secret.
What happened?
I
If
said
you
that's.
want the Grimorian, you can have out of character. If you want the Grimorian, you can.
I'll
have
take their Marion. It's fine.
It seems like fun. I was just looking over mine, and I've got a lot of spells that are complex words. The only one that I thought would be really funny is counter spell. You could make it counter cell. I don't know.
Well, it has to be changed, not substituted.
Oh.
So.
Counter silent piece cell.
Yeah.
I can do sheep now, which I guess is just. So, does it have the same properties of the spell, or does it change the.
It changes the effect with DM approval. So, if
Okay.
you say, oh, I want it, for example, they used cause fear and cause bear, I want a bear to appear. It's all right, I guess a bear can appear, but if you want, I want an army of bears, well, then that's a little too much.
Can I,
Oh.
instead of shield, can I do shields and,
Oh,
double shield it?
Well, it has to
Clamming
be changing,
sphere.
not adding or
Oh.
substituting.
I prefer the +1 AC.
So he's gonna pocket that ring.
Okay,
He's not actually gonna put it on.
sounds good.
What is it
What would
called?
Dooming Blade
The
do?
ring of the giant slayer.
I would say that would be. It's up to you. My first thought is disadvantage for the next whatever.
I mean, you're the DM, and it's
Yeah.
a pretty DM's highlight item, right?
Yeah.
It's, I can say, I turn create bonfire into create, pawn fire or whatever. I don't know, but you get to decide what that does, right? I
Yeah.
don't get to decide what it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me,
Ooh, instead of Mage Hand, Rage Hand.
Oh no, exactly.
Yes.
So that sort of stuff, and you can say I want to use this for this particular effect, and if I think it's a fair effect for what you're doing, it's extra bonus points for creativity.
Okay, I'm excited. Let's do
So
it. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so we have.
Please
Or
throw some
mage
charisma
band.
saving throws my way. I've got a +9 on charisma.
Nice. It feels good when you get the saving throws for the things that you're good at. Half of your throws, your checks for when you were out was do stealth and insight. Great, that's what I built my character around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so King Kingsley comes back with a just big old sack full of stuff that he took from both the houses. And he scurries up to you, Franz, and he's like, "Here you go, sir."
Awesome, thank you. And I'm liking that, sir. I wear it well.
Yep. He says but he doesn't quite look at you when he does it. So
Who is Kingsley, by the way?
He's like episode 1.
Episode 1.
He's just like this random rogue we came across when we were.
He was
Okay.
really bad at his job.
It was very. It got shamed.
Why do we always run into all the people who are really bad at their jobs?
I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, he's a literal child. When I say literal child, at like 14.
So Kingsley does that, and
He had a chandelier fall on him.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing.
okay.
So he wasn't terrible at it, he just got caught.
That's the worst thing you can be as a thief is getting
Yeah.
caught.
So Kingsley does that whole serve thing, and then it sparks something in Ash's brain. He's like, "Where are the children?"
That's a very philosophical question.
No, where are the little
Oh,
people with all the, I don't
the
remember
gnome.
their
I don't know
names.
what the gnomish
Leia
population
can't remember
was.
their names.
Like Lucky, Yasmin.
Lucky
Oh.
and Yasmin, and yeah.
Well, we're at your
Those
house.
people.
We're not at.
The Thieves Guild.
We're
Yeah, they're
not
at the
guild.
thieves. I know
And
the
then
daughter. What?
Zzz.
Can you text me? Because I don't know what you're zipping.
Like saying Thieves Guild in front of Inquisitioners, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
or-
well, they don't know that information. They don't know.
Yeah.
They just know Ash's home. They just know where they were.
Yeah.
Then they know us and our names. That's enough. We don't need to endanger your people.
They
They're
kind
fine.
of guess.
Anyways,
They
you guys
gather-
should be heading off now.
Yeah.
Right? We got your things. Get out of here. Live a good life. That's my advice to you. Okay.
They haul ass out of there, like not in like a sketchy they might betray us, but like they've been very uncomfortable this whole time. Grateful but uncomfortable.
We have
And
that
as soon
effect on
as
people.
soon as you like permit them to leave, they're out. So
We never. They could have left any time.
they
They weren't prisoners per se, but they were maybe. they wanted
prisoners
them
of needing money.
Yes.
With their own money.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's the condition of most people, eh?
Yeah.
Prisoner to their economic status.
Yo.
It's fair.
All right.
Okay. So at
Now
that
that
point,
they-
now you get to
Yeah, I'm
talk
gonna
freely.
take prestidigitation because
Nice.
Did we level up?
y'all did. I
Oh.
didn't.
Nimbus
Yeah.
we did 6 a couple.
Basically,
2 weeks ago, or was it
I
last week?
I am leveling up now
I want to
because
say
I
it was
didn't know.
at least 2 weeks ago because it wasn't last week.
I think it was right before the carnival episode.
So then 2 ago. Oh.
So
Yeah,
last.
I'd say 2 ago.
Yeah.
Because the carnival episode was the shopping episode. too.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Alright. So, deep breaths. I'm glad that you're safe, Ash. Now that we have a little bit of. Young's still here, right? Did we
Yeah,
did we
but
get
he's
his fake papers?
We got everybody papers.
Yeah,
Alright.
and he wouldn't be in the same room as you all. Like he would have just excused himself to like some quiet
I'm
room.
gonna
just-
go off and find you, Young, with the new papers that we got.
Okay. So when you give him the papers, he looks
Oh,
over.
I'm gonna roleplay this. a
Oh, I'm
little bit.
sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. So I'll sit down next to him, and I'll revert back to my changeling form
Mm-hmm.
and talk to him in Nora's voice.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Again, I'm sorry. I know I ditched you when you needed me. And even though I got lucky and got to be there for you today, doesn't excuse the years that I wasn't helping you. I didn't know where you were or how to find you. And as we both know, finding people like us can be tricky. But I'm glad that you're safe, and here, these will help you get out of here.
And he takes it and looks it over at like the description because there's not like photos on this, and you see him as he's looking at it. He's changing his appearance, and it's like a morphing thing. Like he's kind of picking out like it's like short brown hair. Like
It's like the
is it
beginning of
super-
Fallout, where you're just like
Yeah.
clicking like through the
Yeah.
eyes and the mouths and the hairstyles and everything.
Pretty much. So he's doing that, picking out a few different things before he settles on one that he thinks he's okay with. And he goes, well, like I said, I am putting this behind me. You should know they're getting more of us. So, since you couldn't save me, maybe You can see them.
I'll do my best. Do you know where?
Not exactly.
I'm gonna pull out that holy sigil,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just gonna say,
Okay.
this is not from the thing that was talking to us.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, if you see this symbol, whoever this god is, I talked to them just once.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just once?
Yeah, I think it was just once.
If you see them, just if you see the symbol, this god curries favor for our kind. And then I'll put it away, and I'll help him walk out the door.
Okay. He allows you to like walk him like almost to the door, but he closes the door like he wants to close the front door behind him, so like you don't watch him leave almost.
That's fine.
Yeah, because he just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be seen by anyone where he goes next. He's just quiet the whole time, oddly so. Doesn't
Oddly
even. Oh no, I'm just saying like he doesn't even thank you. Like, and you would think
yeah.
that like maybe because I feel like you would have been close enough to like have. I don't know how much talking you could have done with him, but like I feel like you two would have been close and be like, thank you, I'm sorry, I wish you the best. But he just nothing. Door
That's
closed and he leaves.
All right, I turn back into M and go back to them.
All right.
All right. Well, he's gone now too. So, all the people we rescued today, Asher, the only one left. Not in a bad way. Now get out of your house.
Out of your room, this room.
So just to recap on different threads that you have. So Joe told you that your job, Franz, is not in the city, but to travel and start finding ways to change the tide outside of the city.
We can't fire you, so we're relocating you.
Pretty much. But you could tell that, like, it's not that she doesn't think that you can do a good job here. It's just things are a little too precarious that she doesn't want a wild card nearby. So she'd rather you be a wild card somewhere else until things are a little more stable.
Is she gonna go kill that guy for me?
There is a circus in town. There's the slaves both at the border and in that one black marketplace that you saw. There's stuff up north.
So, I always say that for me, my heart and mind are torn in two separate directions. I really do want to head south. I've got family members who are enslaved down there, and I would really like to get them out of their situation. So that's something that I would like to be doing. The other thing, but that's where my heart wants to be. And my mind says that there's this undead threat up north. And obviously we've been kind of hunting the undead since we started this little collab between you and I, Franz. So that could be a reasonable opportunity as well. And so I'm a little torn. What are you guys looking to do in the near future?
I feel like I need to help my brother. And helping him right now means fighting the undead in the north. I'm having deja vu. To every fantasy novel ever written.
It's the White Walkers round our way.
I mean, how much help would we actually be?
I mean, he's here right now to get support. So
I don't want to be presumptuous, but undead killing is kind of our specialty.
And I think it's
Your specialty.
We've done it quite a few times now.
well, what led us here was
Done it, never.
tracing, as I was saying, tracing this necromantic line. And I think no matter where we look, no matter where we go, all signs are going to point towards north.
Except for the there's that whole part where you've also been like figuring out how to save all the slaves since I've known you, and that we could actually do, like, as we have already proved as a team. We're pretty good at infiltrating and like just unlocking cages.
How does your the lady who rules over you, how does she feel about slavery?
She's not. She'll use any situation to her advantage, but in general, she would not stand slaves.
See, the thing I'm thinking about the slaves who are being traded on that black market that we were on, is that we don't have the power between the three of us to take on like the bajillion mafia guys who are down there, right? But, and the problem is that, sure, what if we report that to the authorities? Well, they're all busy fighting each other right now, right? And so we're kind of like in this kind of 22 situation where like there's nobody to really help us and there's no system right now that can tackle that. But we do have a situation where we'll soon have a considerable access to the powers that be in the city, and that might be a good time to try to get the black markets shut down.
Most likely, and I can only imagine that the only reason Joe hasn't encroached on that market is because that market's valuable to her. Once that market is no longer valuable, I doubt she'll tolerate it.
All right. So slavery in capital, of Taizhou, Taizhou.
Yeah.
Capital. No, we won't deal with that today.
Oh, we could.
Do we want to?
We can go swords ablazing.
We could have a lot of good magical items that are all cursed that we could take also if we won the fight, but I don't think it's a very winnable fight.
And I just
It's a
think
good way to end up in one of those slaver cages ourselves.
that, and as much Joe is right, we will only be drawing the wrong kind of attention. Our goal is stability of the capital. Fucking up the underworld is not the best way to do that. Ironically.
No, you need a stable underworld in order to have a stable world.
It's the
Non-criminal.
foundation. It's the structure.
It is, actually.
So we're talking superstructure now.
So Ash, where's your nose leading you?
As per usual, I am neutrally stuck between you two.
God
So,
damn it.
flip a coin?
On what? What are the two options that you'd be flipping a coin on?
Well,
What
it's
are you
either
invested
the
in?
I go wherever the wind takes me. You know this.
Well, that's nice. It makes you easy to be a companion
Hmm.
of.
I don't have any particular passions.
No.
Actually, he really doesn't. He's sitting here
I
like,
think the only
these two care about shit. I don't care about
How
shit.
did you
Is something
decide on a
wrong with me?
major?
because he's not. Wait, yeah, you actually did choose a Bard college at this point, right?
So I did.
Oh no, yeah,
yes.
just now you
You're
did.
Whis-
No,
You're Whispers, right?
Yeah, I'm Whispers.
Oh right.
But it was the only way to appease my mother. If I was gonna go to Bard College, then I had to go with wait. Was that in character? Because
I mean,
I don't think.
yeah.
He's like,
I
hold
feel
on.
like that's kind of in character.
he's like, wait, hold on. No, I had to go. I went to Bard College, so I picked a particular. The exact college that I went into doesn't actually matter. We should go fight the undead.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, anyways, I need to go talk to my brother no matter what decision we go. If we decide not to go with him, I need to make sure that I can meet up with him, that he'll be fine, that
You
he
could
doesn't need
convince some
us.
people to go with him. If that would make
Do you
feel
know any
better.
mercenaries?
Do I know, besides anybody working in the
We could
thieves guild, and
find
they
some
are,
mercenaries.
they're preoccupied.
Can I find some mercenaries?
I mean, I know a group of ragtag lizards.
One of them is a paladin now.
And a rogue.
Or paladins, I suppose.
Um,
Help me find somebody who I might be able to hire to do some sleuthing activities on my behalf down south, and we can head up north and do some undead killing.
So wait, how far north are these undead?
Yeah, let's get some geography.
Yeah.
How
Assuming
close
it's
to
a
mom
week's
do these
journey,
things
right?
exist? Is it mom's?
thereabouts.
Is it
It's
mom's
very-
fault? That's his
Oh.
question.
This.
Why would it be your mom's fault?
No, I mean,
Oh.
out of character. That's all out of character.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know who my mom is.
Well, Eric doesn't.
Oh, Eric
Yeah.
doesn't know who my mom is.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yep.
If it has to
And-
do with mom. Oh God, I forgot. That wonderful.
Corey's face when that was revealed
yeah.
was like the best.
Oh, thought that was out in the open already.
No.
I'm
It's
sorry,
not-
is there something special about your mother?
No, none of that was it. None of that was
Mommy
it.
dearest.
Yep.
I mean, does Max know whose house they're in besides that it's just ashes?
Yeah, that's all he knows. All she knows.
Yeah, and I don't think that she would.
She hasn't been.
Yeah, because
She hasn't been home, no.
yeah, not just that, but everything that's important about her is her first name, and I don't feel like she advertises her last name
No.
outside of just to prove nobility.
Yeah.
So, even if the family crest is everywhere, and I don't think that M's been digging
No.
into like diaries to see who's.
I know you.
That's
because
fair.
we're
Anyway,
allies.
yeah.
how far
We do
north
know you.
is this?
It is about a week's journey north.
So
It's
much
close
farther
to
than mine.
it's close to Gio. So it's a little cold. I'm just
But
so
much-
mad.
much
now.
farther
close to
north.
Gio? Isn't there like 2 countries between Taijo and Gil?
No, it's just the
So this isn't mom's fault.
doesn't seem it seems a little too far north to be her fault.
Okay. Well,
But there's
I
something
can get my
else.
hands on some mercenaries.
There is something in between there and here and there that's like in her wheelhouse, kind of, that you might think, but you can't tell for sure. It's something that happened that we talked about in here. The one, read, where is it? And I'm not saying it is or not, but that would be the only thing that you're not sure.
Yeah,
she
no,
would
I
have a
mean,
hand in.
he 100% is just like, if something's going wrong somewhere, it's probably mom's fault.
Taijo and Gio are bordering. Gio, there's east and West Gio is like the
Oh.
northern water tribe, kind of.
Okay, okay.
So
Wow, you're just mixing
I'm
and
just trying to
matching
find the map
all-
right now.
all of the various nerddumps
Yep.
between
realized-
Game of Thrones and water.
Yeah, and after playing Final Fantasy X, I'm realizing how many Final Fantasy X elements are in Pajania, which is the southern state. And I'm like, shit, these are like the Albed, but
Oh,
I forgot all about that.
wait. Do you... So, Ash is like, Max... No, wait. Are you playing Max? You're playing M. Sorry. M. Do you know about the concentration camp of shapeshifters in the northeast of the city?
Are you asking that in character?
Yeah. he's like thinking about it because he's realizing that was northeast and you were talking about south, and he thought they were the same thing until Leia read this and was
So-
like, oh shit, no.
Like people like me?
Yeah, maybe, yes. Do I know?
It was like they were in conversation as they were coming in to beat you up, so that details are
I
hazy.
think that it's people who can change into other people. So yes, I think people like... I know very little about supernatural creatures. He's just putting it out there, laying it down.
Differently natural creatures. Well,
Because there is one, and if we're heading north anyway.
like just in the city though, is what you just northeast parts of the city, or like
Yeah.
to the
No,
north?
northeast of the city.
Of the city.
Okay, well let's stop there on our way north.
Because
Yeah.
I
Please.
100% thought that Leia.
No.
Leia thought that those two things were the
The,
same thing.
the only inkling that I've got is my good friend, who we just let walk away, he just slightly mentioned that they're more like us who are being held.
So I think they're gonna try and replace some people with some of your people.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. Excuse me, and I'm relieved.
But I can also get my hands on some mercenaries, or like convince people randomly to join up to
Maybe talk to your mom.
Wait, I need
Yeah.
some mercenaries. Hey.
Yeah,
Mommy dearest.
we can. Yeah, we could send a letter. You don't want to meet her in person.
Oh, mommy.
She will eviscerate you, literally all over the floor.
I won't be there. This is all you. And for some reason, you're still alive.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
So you're gonna try and look for like a mercenary guild to try and hire some arms to get the people down south.
So
Like,
That's what I
is that-
want to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a letter to Mama.
Okay.
It's like, hey, Mom, who are your mercenary contacts? I need some.
It's gonna be like the episode of Futurama. We have to write it in your
Also,
own
can I have some money? About the amount that you normally pay mercenaries.
Well, that's gonna take a bit longer because
We could also stop that way while we're going north.
Good.
And you guys could stay someplace else while I go do
Oh
that.
my god.
I kind of want to go north now just
Oh
to deal with this.
God, no!
Go hang out with my mom!
Are you gonna tell her what you did?
She has to figure that. This is our game. If she can't figure it out, it's not my problem. If she can figure it out, then we'll have that conversation. If she brings it up with me, I'll be like, yeah, of course. Why not? That's what I do. I cost you money. That's my whole purpose in my life. You actually want to know what Ash wants to do? He wants to go fuck up his mom's operations.
Oh my god.
But also, that's not the best way to be a good person. So he's gonna go save some slaves or kill some undead shit or something like that.
Yeah, so we'll cross that bridge when we burn it.
So, mercenaries.
Yes. Why don't you do a history check? Because I know that you're from here, but things have changed a bit. So.
History would be a 3.
Okay. You don't remember any, but you do have two friends who are also from here who might be
Hey,
willing
would you
to.
guys, do you know any places I could find some mercenary or detective of some kind?
Is it Gregor? Who's my butler?
Gregory.
Okay.
Not Gregor is the guy from the Metamorphosis.
Okay. Hey, Gregory.
Yes.
He's just in the rumpus room.
I'm like,
He's been there the entire time.
I'm just gonna
What?
ring a bell.
Oh,
There's
okay.
probably
Yeah,
a
that's
bell
what
in
I'm
here
Oh,
somewhere.
ringing the bell.
Like, there's a bell in here somewhere.
Okay.
He's gonna ring the servant's bell. It'd be really annoying.
So
God.
yeah, the bell rings and you hear. Yes, Master Alabaster.
Can we get scones?
No. You missed it. I said Master Alabaster because it rhymed.
Yeah,
and I
no,
bet
and
you.
now you know his actual first name.
Yep.
He says Master Alabaster. Jesus Christ.
It's been a while since I got to rhyme.
It's true. Do you know where Mom keeps her little black book on mercenaries and other worldly contacts?
Yes, but she has explicitly told me not to share that with you.
But I just need. Can you just go look at it and give me some names for some mercenaries that we can hire to go
Like
deal
the
with some
detective
shit?
kind, like somebody who just goes out and finds a little bit of information for cheap.
Or that. Whatever Amazon.
Private investigator. We need a PI.
Yeah, we need just a PI.
I can give you a name, but it did not come from me.
Could you do it?
No. I have.
All
Goodbye.
right. Well, what's the hey, what's that name?
I have to write it down.
He'll be back.
And then,
No worries. Gregory's good.
he comes back and gives you.
Master Alabaster. Does he not know your real name?
Oh, that is my real name.
And then he hands you a piece of paper with 3 names of potential people. One seems to be mostly PI. Just grab that from the table.
All right.
One is like specifically a PI, and the other one is a list of person who might know other mercenaries, and then the other one is kind of like the go-to guy for just like a quick job. So.
I will relay that information to
Which one do you recommend we talk to first?
Which?
These names mean nothing to you because Mom hasn't shared these.
It's fine.
So.
Um.
And if you want to do an insight check, you can.
Sure.
18.
That's good.
I think it would
That
be.
one.
Should I
Okay.
do an insight check?
It would really just
Okay.
between like you. It was like between you and like. Jeffrey's like no Gregory. So like I don't think you two would know him well enough to be able to do that sort of check.
No, I got a
With
nat
it.
one. So
Yeah.
whatever is the worst one, I probably think that one's the best one.
Oh no, it's what are these names and
Gotcha.
why did he choose them? So.
Alright.
Alright.
Well, we could go meet them.
So we could either go out for a quick job, or we could do the PI. Those seem to be the best first two. Which one do you think we should go meet?
I mean,
Let's do the PI.
Yeah, let's do the PI. That's a good idea.
Okay. So they have their a little office in the not shady side, is kind of like halfway between the good and the shady side of town. The worst house in the best neighborhood kind of thing. Or no, best house. I don't know. Whatever. He's there.
I think worst house, best neighborhood.
Yeah. No, but I wasn't sure whether or not he would be in the best house
You
in the
never
worst
want to be in
neighborhood.
the best house
No,
in the worst neighborhood.
I know. I know, but what I'm saying is like yeah, whatever. He's it's not the nicest like part of town, but it's definitely not where you would feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Or I mean you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
You live in the uncomfortable.
I'm not classist.
Yep.
I'm also
so
not wearing my noble garb anymore. Like,
Okay.
I'm officially, like, if we're leaving the city, he's not wearing any
Yeah.
silk.
So it's a ye old business office building where there's a list at the front of the door where it's like floor 1, room 1, so on and so forth. And you see he's on like the 3rd floor. You turn right, it's on the left hand side. You know, it's like number 7 on the 3rd floor.
Alright.
And the door's closed. Do you knock? Do you want to listen in on anything? Or...
Sure, I'll take a listen.
Okay. Perception check.
20. Not natural.
Okay.
19 plus 1.
There's definitely only like you only hear one person in here. And there's like a clink every now and again, so you could tell that they're drinking something, but it's like put down very heavily, so either they're drunk or they're not paying attention or they're frustrated. So and then there's a pause, another come in.
What's his name?
His name is
Or her name?
It's a he, this one. And his name is Dura Lightslayer.
Dura. Okay. Hi, hello, are you Dura?
Yeah. And he's like on the table, like not on the table, leaning on the
Human?
table like this. Yeah, so you open the door after he said, I imagine you open the door when he says come in. He's dressed in a nice vest. It's a dark color. I'm imagining like almost have you played Witcher 3?
Oh yeah.
I've seen it.
What?
I said I've seen it.
Okay. I'm imagining the Nilfgaardian type robes where it's like a
Yep.
black tunic with white sleeves, white shirt underneath it, tan pants, black boots, and he's got cropped hair. He's got like a grizzly scar like on his cheek, probably around like mid-40s, and he's leaning over like this, and he goes, "What do you want?"
You like working?
I like getting paid to work.
Alright, then it looks like we might get along. So I'm looking to find some people
Okay.
who have gone mission. They were sold into slavery somewhere down south.
Okay.
Now,
I don't leave the city.
well then, who does?
Not me.
What do we have to pay for you to leave the city?
Not my gig anymore. I like keeping close. I like
I thought you
staying.
liked money.
I do.
No,
Trying to
speak the
same language.
Yup. If you want me to find information around the city, if you want me to find dirt on anyone, if you want me to find people who are bad.
Do you know anyone who does leave the city in your line of work? There's always some kind of fee, right? That reference fee or whatever.
Finder's fee or something like that, or
Something along those lines. Yeah, there might be a little bit in it for you.
I mean, at this point, the only thing in it for me is to get you to leave so I can go back to work that I'm getting paid for. And he just starts thumbing through some like index cards almost. Like in the library system, you pull out the thing and you go like that. And finally, he finds a name of a person that he thinks might take it, scribbles it down, and hands it over to you. And I'm just gonna throw that there.
What's
This
the
paper's
name?
going back and forth. God, there's so many names I didn't prepare for. Their name is. It's so illegible. You have to do an insight check or perception check to read it.
That would be an 8.
Okay, you can't read it, which is good. While I look for.
Hey, I'm sorry, but I understand that.
No.
Yeah. What,
I know.
What does this say?
Oh, that says Astrid.
Astrid. Okay, that's nice. And does this have an address on it?
Yeah.
Can I read that?
Yes, because I didn't have to prepare for that.
Okay. So let's go ahead to that address then. Thank you for your time, and I'll flick him 2 silver pieces.
He gives you a thumbs up and he goes, "You're a good lass." On your way there, make a perception check.
All of us are just them.
All of you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, new blue dice. You nat 20, and then you 119, but otherwise all under 5. So let's go ahead.
21.
Put you over here 7.
Okay.
12.
You notice it. Cause it's fairly crowded. It's midday or a little past midday at this point. So it's just the streets are bustling. You're able to see this person. He's older. He's wide-eyed. He's scrambling, and he's just hauling ass, just looking for something or someone. But every time he gets close to someone to try and talk to them, they just scurry away because he's so wired. They don't want to engage with him. And he is getting closer to you. What do you do?
Tap him on the shoulder.
I think when you tap him on the is he you're coming up behind him?
Yeah.
Or, okay. He turns around when you tap him on the shoulder and he grabs your arms and holds you tight. Not in a I'm going to hurt you. It's the please don't leave. I need you to listen to me. And he looks at you wide eyes and he goes, my daughter, she shapeshift, and he's barely getting the words out. And he goes, shapeshifters broke into my home. My daughter's in the basement. I need you to help. I need you to save her. And he, as you do a perception check.
It's gonna be a 16.
Okay. He's got bruises all over his face. He's got his nose is broken, and you don't know if he even realizes how broken his nose is.
Do I believe this thing about shapeshifters?
You could do a insight check on him.
23 on the insight check.
22 on the insight check.
It's gonna be a 22.
Okay.
Nice.
We're all
yeah.
ironclad
And I
into
wanna-
this man's soul.
I want each of you to tell me exactly what you're trying to insight on him.
I don't care about the shapeshifter part.
I care about the shapeshifter.
I know
Yeah.
he does. I'm more is his daughter actually in danger? What's actually threatening his daughter is not a concern to me right now. The fact that the daughter is in danger is what I'm
this is
concerned
not a
about.
trap.
Okay. Everything he says appears to be true.
He at least believes it to be true.
Yes. He is he's deathly afraid that his daughter is being
Fine,
captured
sir.
and
That's quite an accusation. Now, let's remain calm.
he's not remaining calm.
Just go help him.
Shapeshifters, you're
And
saying
he's
there's
just-
magical
and he-
people.
and he turns-
we're gonna help them.
And he turns to you and grabs onto you and he goes, "I don't
Um,
care what they are, they have my daughter."
Our friend is just trying to be diplomatic in a time where there's no diplomacy needed. We will help you. Tell us everything you know, where we need to go.
Okay. So you would, I think, pull him off to the side a little bit because he's like, his voice is like way too loud.
I
And
cast sleep on him.
yeah, no. You
I'm
pull him
Sorry,
off
sheep.
Yeah. You pull him off into an alley, and
That's
he talks,
That'd be great.
how he just came home, after working a long shift overnight. So this happened like just now. And he came home and he saw shapeshifters in his home taking his daughter downstairs, and he tried to fight them off.
When you
But
say, how are they changing shape?
they were one thing and then they were another thing. That's what
one thing then another. That's very vague. Wouldn't you agree?
It doesn't matter. Okay, we're
What
not going to fight over
matters if I'm going to have to go
semantics.
stab this thing, if it's going to turn into a giant bear, or if it's going to turn into an elf. Those are different things. Alright? So, it does matter.
He goes. They were and he's going like this, and he's like dragons, and then, but not like big dragons. They were just dragons, and he's going like this now.
I know what a big dragon is.
What were they turning into? Petite dragon into what?
Person.
Okay.
Alright.
That's a wide
How
variety
far
of
away
magic.
would this man's home be from where Astrid is?
They're not terribly far apart. He, probably is, like, I would say if you were to, like, walk to his house and then walk to Astra's, it's only taking you a half hour out of the way.
Alright, well, do we agree that we should go? Well, one more
I
question.
think that we've wasted a whole lot of time.
We're walking and talking, alright?
Uh-huh.
Another question, while we're walking and talking, why haven't you gone to the gods about this? Or the Inquisition?
I didn't prepare that answer. Let me think of that. I don't know. My daughter. It's just my daughter. I didn't see anyone. I just have to ask
You're not a
anyone
good
for
man
help.
to have around in a crisis, are you?
Oh my god. We're walking to his house. Like, Ash is like looking at him like, even I am not this bad of a person. I just keeps walking. Like, he's like, why are you interrogating this poor man who was literally beat up on the side of the road? Like,
How far away are we from his house?
Not far. It's
Okay.
like you would take
Yeah,
it.
we're walking and
Yeah.
talking. I'm not being
It's a
mean.
10
I'm just
10-minute
trying to
walk to
understand
like
what we're about to
over
walk
here.
into.
Yeah. So
You guys
it's 10
take him at
minutes.
his word. I'm just trying to get some details.
Yeah. So you get to the house. And he's like, that's it. I can't get close. They might attack me again. But
Alright.
I'll stay here. I'll.
Okay. Good.
While
Stay
we're in
here,
there,
keep watch. Sit down.
sit down. Don't let Inquisition into this house. It's really just gonna fuck everything up.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We have an understanding, right?
Yes.
Cool, let's go.
I'll go first. I got this new fancy ring. Makes me harder to hit.
Okay. So
Because
this
it's
is
so
the
ugly,
house,
no one
right?
wants to hit you. Hey!
1 second. We got Franz.
You just
We
call me
got
ugly?
M.
Yeah, no, because it's so ugly.
Oh, the ring.
Yeah.
And we got Ash. So you're in front of the house. And it's incredibly modest. Like it's itty bitty. You're shocked that it has a basement, but it probably has like this shitty unfinished basement where they like store stuff.
It's like we're in the
Are
Midwest.
we trying to be sneaky here?
I honestly, I don't know if he actually saw what he thought he
I'm gonna open up the
saw.
door.
Yeah, we're just gonna go downstairs.
I'll take the lead and we'll head downstairs. Are we in the house already? Yeah.
If you're in the house already, yes, but if make a perception check.
All of us are just
13.
Whoever's in the house.
I think we're
Well,
all
we're all in the house. I'm leading. I'm being
Okay.
first in the order of succession.
23.
Okay. So
Natural 1.
nice. Okay.
Hey, you guys, do my eyes. I'm just gonna close my eyes and rock around the house for a bit.
Okay. So this is like the entryway, and then there's like a little like half wall over here, and I want to say like the house probably like this is the entirety of the house like width-wise. So half wall over here, and then that little thing, and then this is like what looks to be like the entrance to the basement. There's like a sitting room over here. This is it, like couch sort of. There's stairs over here.
Kind of a really big house.
Hmm?
It's kind of a really
1, 2,
big
3,
house.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's like 70 feet.
I guess.
It's not terrible. Like that's not even a baseball diamond. 1, 2,
it's
3,
got a
4, 5,
basement.
6,
Does it have
7,
a
8, 9, 10,
upstairs?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, like this isn't.
I
imagine
like one
the-
is like a 1-floor ranch house.
Yeah.
I'm more just thinking from a medieval perspective.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this is a
True.
pretty large house. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be.
I was going
like,
by.
I understand that modern size house,
Yeah.
maybe like a 2-story with a basement that's this size, not so big. Although I'm thinking like, France 1650.
Yeah.
This is like a huge place, but that's fine. Ye olde fantasy
Yep.
things don't always add up.
Nope, they do not. All right, so over here, there's over back. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm right. Back here is living area. Back right is kitchen area. Then there's like stairs up to a loft where you imagine where is the sleeping area. And then over here, door that you imagine leads downstairs, and then a little half wall. And this is like there's shoes. You put that stuff.
Is it
in.
like ruffled in any way? Has there been a fight in this house?
With your perception checks, it looks a little messy. It doesn't look like a huge, like, you don't see, like, drag marks of, like, nails, like, stop it,
Any
but
blood from the broken nose?
I was about to say, there is a little bit of blood spatter
Okay.
right here.
Well, shall we head downstairs? Seems to be at least where the old man thought.
Sure.
How old is his daughter?
We didn't ask.
And you guys were getting all up on my case for asking some questions.
You didn't ask that question.
Alright. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry that I didn't think of all
I'll
the
open the door to the
questions.
basement.
Okay, well, let's,
I'll head
let's
down. I'll lead the
pause.
way down into the basement.
As you get to...
Man, Emma's
What?
feeling real confident about her brand new shiny AC,
Yep.
isn't she?
Yep.
No. I've always led the group, and like at least before you came along, I've always been the person to open the doors and get hit with all the bad things.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
From over here, they were hiding when people just walked inside. But here, let me just make sure
Oh yeah,
they.
perceptions.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, they both rolled. I just want to make sure they definitely rolled high enough in stealth to beat. So they are going to get a surprise roll. Please roll for initiative. And I'll describe more in a moment.
Not bad, friends. Not bad at all.
That's
1
cocked.
second.
Alright.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
17.
25.
By the way, we learned it last session. Bards can increase their initiative through checks of jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Bards are the best, yo!
Okay.
Bards are the best.
So this one right here, pulls out a sling.
Are they behind cover?
It's sort of, but not really.
Okay.
Like if you were over here, it would be half cover, but you're far enough out where it's got like a little like half rail, like from
Okay.
here to here, just so
But
they
it's
don't
a
roll
hollow
off.
rail, right? Like
Yeah.
little bars, not something you can really hide behind.
Right.
Alright.
So like they were laying low when
Mhm.
you walked in, but it's not like you can't hit them. It's just if you're under here, it'd be hard to because you're literally going like this. But yeah, so this one has a sling, and they pull back, and they're just going to hit the one closest to them, or
What are
attempt
these
to.
things?
Sorry, I forgot to fucking tell you. They look human. So
Children?
adult, probably like late 20s. So
Okay. Yeah.
Are they one of your friends?
I hope not. I hope
So
I
that's
hope
a
he
14
does not
to hit.
run
Does
into
that
any
hit?
more
Nope.
friends.
okay. And then the
Well, they
other
have
one.
advantage because they're striking from an unseen position.
Isn't that just a
If
rogue thing?
I'm pretty sure you have
No.
advantage on strikes if the enemy can't see you.
In a surprise round, everyone has advantage. All the
Okay.
people have advantage.
Well, that one doesn't work. Does a 17 hit you?
Right on the AC.
Okay.
Oh, so it's at or below though.
Sounds
I hope
good.
you're glad that I'm checking up on the rules there.
Alright, that is a 5 damage.
So I can half that.
Don't you have to beat?
Two damage.
Don't you have to beat AC?
No,
No,
it's
You have
it's
to meet
equal.
AC.
Yeah.
the way that I always
Attacker
tell my
always
players
wins.
when I'm dungeon mastering is that whoever rolls wins the tie. Because that's actually how the system works. So if you're rolling to save a DC and you hit the save, you save. But if you're rolling to hit something and you hit the DC, you know,
Yeah,
person
I've
whoever
just
rolled wins the tie.
most of the DMs I've known have done defenders win ties, and
Okay.
it's just a
Hmm.
difference in way
Is
people
that-
play rules.
Mhm.
Okay.
So first up, you.
Cool. Yeah.
And both males. Not sure if it matters, but
All right.
both are dudes.
Whatever. I'm just gonna go for broke. Because I want to get this done as fast as possible. So I'm gonna use Dissonant Whisper on the D.
Well, fuck.
12.
Okay. Tell me more.
It's a fun spell.
It is a fun spell.
It's a very good spell.
Do
So the target must make a Wisdom saving throw against a 16.
Okay. That's a nat 1.
Wow.
Poor baby. Poor
Yeah.
baby.
Am I
Poor
adding,
baby.
Am I adding anything to this beautiful here?
Tell me what Dissonant Whispers is.
It's 3d6 psychic damage.
are you aiming to kill?
Yeah.
Okay, have this. One of those will be max damage die, so just roll 2d6 and add 6.
This will be 12, 13, 15.
Okay, they're leaning forward and they are just knocked backwards. Like, you just dead ass, they are knocked prone by the sheer force of that.
Lovely.
Franz, you're up.
And it must immediately use its reaction, by the way, so it doesn't have any reaction.
Okay. I'll wait until I'm
Cool.
watching.
I'm gonna go up. And I'm gonna. You say it's not prone?
Just knock him out, Franz. I'll yell as I see you start running. And I'm running behind you, in a sense, because it's all happening in the same condensed 6 seconds.
Well, let's see how much damage I do first. Boom and blade. If only I was a fighter. Only it was a fighter.
19.
Yeah, well, it's gonna hit plus all my.
Yeah.
So 27.
But they're prone, so if you're shooting something, it's disadvantage.
No, I'm not.
He was running up,
I'm running
he said, so.
Well, that's.
I assume he's
5,
using
10,
his bonus
15.
action.
Yeah.
Dash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm just up there now.
Okay.
Let's see. 8, 10, 11, 15, 20 damage.
You murder him.
Cool.
Done.
He's dead.
You're up.
So.
You hear like the dying gasp as you just drive. Yeah, we'll deal with that.
So I run in Misty Step right on top of the other one.
Because it's 70 feet
Poof,
total.
yeah. So, well, it's not 70 feet from me, it's 60 feet.
Oh no, but I was
So
saying like
that's-
this whole house is 70 feet
Yeah,
total,
so-
so.
And I'm gonna get right on top of him, and I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, your friend's dead. Maybe you should give this up. You could still have your life. I do have a question. Shapeshifter?
The fuck are you talking about? And they say that, and like they have a sling, and you see like they were, as you were like running up, they're reaching for like a bat, pretty much. So like they're like in between in this 6 seconds, like switching weapons. But they do an insight check.
21.
They're fucking scared. Shitless.
What about, are they shapeshifters?
When you say shapeshifters, they literally said, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Alright, well, I still have an action, do I?
You do, yeah.
Oh, I don't. I guess I can't conjure a weapon at this time.
Grapple.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead. Can I use Green Flame Blade with my hand? Just kidding. I'll try to grapple him.
Okay. Strength contest. 2. you try to do that. They rolled an 18 on the die, plus their mods. So, when you try and grapple them, they just they just do a quick shove back. And you don't actually get shoved back. It's just they stop you.
I'll give him a shrug and I'll just say, I'll just sick him on you. And, and I'll use the rest of my movement to just walk away.
That's an opportunity attack.
I don't care.
Um,
He's got a sling in his hand right now.
yeah. They actually don't take the opportunity attack. They run over here 5.
This
10,
is his
so.
turn then. This isn't his reaction, right?
Right.
So can you just move me whatever my movement would have been? Because I have 60 feet of movement.
I would just say, are you
down
walking
the
this way or
stairs.
down? Okay.
I'm going to the basement for the daughter.
Okay.
I don't
They
care
run
about
over
these
here.
idiots.
And they're using their entire turn to just try and see what's going on. They're shaking them awake, but the person's dead and bleeding out.
Are they dead?
Who's to say?
I mean, they're not moving.
Are we out of combat?
I would say at this point, yes.
Can I hear everything that was said up there from where I'm at right now?
I don't think you heard M ask that, but you did hear the person shout, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I'm just
and
gonna silent Ixnay on the magic save to
Yeah.
Ash. Well, I'm just heading down to the basement.
Okay. Are you?
I'm gonna stay up here and figure this situation out.
Okay. You head down to the basement. Let's resolve that in a moment. What are you doing while they're shaking?
He's
And-
dead, bud.
Why did you kill him?
Why are you in this house?
It's my house. It's our house.
Explain.
And pause there.
That's why I'm looking to see if I've got any.
Is Ash with me
spells.
coming down the stairs, or is Ash staying upstairs?
He's gonna tell you to shout if you run into any trouble.
So I'm the only one heading downstairs by myself.
Yep.
What?
I'm heading downstairs by
Okay.
myself. All right.
Yeah. So you go downstairs, and there's a. It's very dark. Very it's not really meant to house
Is
people.
it
What?
so dark I can't see?
Yes and no. It's dim light, so you can't see a lot.
Okay.
But what you do see is these weird, a lot of clothes and weird shapes on the ground. And if you want a perception check, you can see it.
Why not? I've been doing really well on this today.
Uh huh.
This is rolled a 2 many
Wow.
times.
Wow.
3 because 2 plus 1. Okay, I'm sorry, but when I do you're just not a perception check die. I'll roll you for other things, okay?
Mhm.
But you're the perception check die now. Okay, so I don't notice anything.
Nope.
Presumably. Maybe
Yeah.
it's in that run to stealth check or whatever.
You could try and investigate the weird shapes.
I'll
you
start talking.
Okay.
To my knowledge, there's a female down here in
Okay.
need of help. Hello, is anyone down here? I'm not meaning anyone any harm. I'm just trying to find a woman or a girl who, it's someone's daughter, like all females are.
Oh my god.
There's not an immediate response. But then you hear a kind of tired, sleepy groan as someone gets up. And they're like, "What? Who's looking for me?"
Old man, very disheveled, kind of beat up a little bit.
I don't know who you're talking about.
What's your name?
Alavor.
Elena?
Yeah.
Okay, and you live down here?
Yeah.
Alright. And you're not in any danger?
No.
So,
Alright. I'm sorry for waking you. What's your dad look like?
That's weird. Why do you want to know what my dad
Well,
looks
a man
like?
who said that his daughter was in this basement, said there's crazy people in the house taking over and hurting and his daughter. And obviously that's not the case. And he seemed kind of crazy. But I'm just trying to piece together the situation if he is your father or if he's just a really crazy man.
Probably a crazy man. My dad lives 2 towns over. I don't know.
Kind of an interesting way to put it when you live in a capital. But anyways, it's funny. It's just because that's not, I don't feel like that's how people in a big city would talk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 towns over from
Yeah.
New York City or something like. Alright. Well, I'm sorry to bother you. You know the fellas who live upstairs?
Yeah, they helped me in here. I'm kind of drunk.
Hey.
Alright.
Woman after my own.
And you're just taking a nap, and you trust those fellas?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright. Well, I would just say, go back to sleep. And I'm going to head back up the stairs.
At the start of him going
Yeah.
down to the basement,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word.
Okay.
And we're gonna see if it wakes this poor fella up.
Okay.
The one on the ground?
And let's just.
The dude that we've just murdered.
Yeah.
Whew.
7 plus 5. 12. Should at least stabilize him.
Here's
if
the thing.
he's
Do an Arcana check.
Alright. 14?
Okay. He was very, very, very dead. In the sense, like D&D wise, but he nat 20'd on like a death saving throw.
Okay.
So like, he should be dead, and you feel
Appreciate
this, and you're
it.
like, this really, he's somehow alive, and my
By the
healing,
source of his own will.
pretty much,
He
pretty much,
is alive.
yeah. Your healing bought him more time, but if you don't figure out something soon, he's gonna be done.
So heal should stabilize him. Healing Word should
Healing Word would
automatically
stabilize.
stabilize him.
Right, but Franz took him past his max HP and
Well,
negative.
You can't go.
Well,
There's
she's
zero.
allowing for
Yeah.
for some things.
Because what happens is
DM
if you're,
is saying magic.
Alright.
because here's
so
what
I'm gonna
happens.
head
His
I'm heading
HP.
up the stairs. What's going on when I get up the stairs?
Okay, and I just wanted to tell you, and genuinely, like, what I learned was, like, this is how I was taught with, like, insta-deaths, is if a character is brought to half of its, like, if it has 20 HP and damage brings them to negative 20, they're just dead.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
We did do 35 damage on this poor civilian.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
I'm gonna
that's
head
what,
up,
so
I'm gonna
that's
head up
why I'm
the
saying it should be
stairs,
insta-death.
and I'm going
Oh.
to give both of them the just ugliest stink eye as I walk out the house to find the old man.
Okay.
Alright, well, I'm gonna take this cat to a healing, place of healing. Is there anything?
You know that I'm a healer, right?
Well, you just walked out the house, so.
I would give like a 1 second. Like, I'll give you a
Okay.
stink eye and like I'll be right back.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm gonna try and make some kind of
Okay.
carrying device.
Okay. Well, like the other person, and you haven't gotten their names. What was I gonna say? Because he's when you heal him, like some of the wounds cover, but he's like doing his best to like just stop the bleeding at this point, and he is like hysterical. He doesn't know what to do. He's angry. He's scared. You're still in his house. What the fuck? So he's not really thinking straight right now.
Are we
You
the
So we're just
shapeshifters?
like giving, like literally, Ash is just giving him orders to stay the bleeding,
okay?
and like not even talking about anything else.
Okay. You. The guy is waiting outside. He's like friend. He's like
come on in. We've got your daughter. We've solved the threat. Come on in.
You're inviting him inside.
Yes.
Okay. He walks in and upon seeing.
Well, when he gets in front of me,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Oh,
like
okay.
push him onto the ground and I'll be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Okay. Strength check with advantage, like a
Alright.
strength contest, because he's
Great.
gonna fight you. But
That's going to be a 14.
So
okay, he
Yes.
he has a negative
And
modifier.
then I'm going to
of
tell
5.
them, now that I've got him, and this is why maybe we shouldn't make too rash decisions.
maybe the healer shouldn't walk out while someone's bleeding out on the floor.
You got-
I'm gonna hold my sword in front of
I
the
like
old man
how I
and be
just
like,
missed them.
What's
Oh,
going on?
And he.
And then I'll go up and I'll check
Okay.
on the guy and I'll say, "Oh, is he not dead? He looked very dead
Yeah,
to
I
me."
just saved him, but you didn't stop to like see what was happening.
I was making sure he didn't get away.
Why would
Anyway.
we care? He's just a crazy old
Who just incited us to murder someone.
who's not dead.
And Well, we're very lucky that they're not dead, are we? And I'm gonna go up and I'll just do.
Are we the baddies?
We are.
Can
We've
I
known
do
this
a
the entire
can I do
time.
a medicine check on this guy to try to stabilize him
You could do what you can. Let's see.
before I can use my healing light? I don't have like an actual I don't have cure wounds.
Do you not have the
I am
revivify anymore?
No,
getting-
that was
okay,
a Maggie
that was,
spell.
Yeah. Okay.
literally putting him onto a stretcher at this point.
Okay.
All right, so that's not a very good medicine check. 9.
Okay. Yeah. You can tell that he needs some sort of magical intervention greater than.
We'll give him 3d6. How's that sound?
Yep. And pretty much just so you know, every point. So you healed him for what, 9 before? What was
12.
it? 12. Like mechanically, every point you give him is an hour he has that you're giving him before he dies.
So he's just. Can we?
If you find something in
Take
between,
him to Xenos.
or what? Didn't you go to a magical cleric or?
Oh yeah, the priest guy.
It's where it's some religion.
Fine,
Yeah.
I'll
Some
give
religion
him
is gonna heal.
2 more dice of hours if that's the case.
Yeah.
He has 5 more hours.
Okay, so he's
Cool.
got 17 hours before beefing it.
And I'm just
So
like,
what's
oh,
going on? All of you. The one conscious guy and the guy. What the fuck's going on?
Okay.
Hey, Franz, I wouldn't swing your blade at the
I got it.
the 2 guys because I'm pretty sure that this is just their house and they're just living their lives and we
Yeah,
just
I'm
came in.
working it out.
We just broke into their house.
Yep, working
Downstairs there is a young woman who seems a little tipsy. I sent her back to bed. She's definitely not in danger and she is where she wants to be.
it out. Yeah, I'm figuring it out.
So, the guy is just, the old man is pointing at, the remaining dude up from that you didn't kill. And he's just screaming, he's a shapeshifter, he's a shapeshifter.
See, this crazy
And
old man.
the guy turns and he goes, we were wearing costumes.
What are your relation?
Okay.
Do you have any relationship to each other?
No, he just followed us home. We were at a party and we were dressed in costumes. And then like we come home and he breaks into our home and tries getting our friend. And then you murdered him.
No, he's fine. Just gotta get him to somebody.
He's got 18 hours. He'll be okay.
He'll be fine. Okay, well, our job here is done.
All right.
Excuse me?
Hey, I've got a cleric friend who's pretty good at these kind of things. We'll take him. Let's get, religious person, good at healing people, like getting their wounds closed and closing up. Your friend's pretty hurt.
But shouldn't you take him to like a doctor?
I mean, a religious person.
So-
It's a religious doctor, basically. He works
I know a
for cheaper.
pediatrician.
And he points to you and he goes, you both did something. You're talking about
Yeah,
what
we're
you
talking
did.
about magic. And we're talking about making sure that your brother, I'm assuming he's your brother,
No, he's my friend.
your friend, doesn't die.
What's
So
your
either
name?
we can take him to a doctor and he can die,
Yeah.
or we can take him to a magician and he can live. Those are your options.
Potentially.
I'm Brew.
What's your friend's name?
Don.
Don. Listen, I would like to note that I did not do anything violent, first of all. Second of all,
You broke into their house!
High horse. And you would have. And you would have.
I'll be charged!
You literally walked up there.
what did
and
I-
No. You walked up there and you attempted to grapple him while his friend was bleeding out on the floor when you could have healed him.
You're
then,
like the
and
kid.
you just failed at it. You were just
What did I say to
bad.
Franz when he was
What?
running up the stairs?
You're like the friend of the kid who got caught red-handed by the teacher and just bolts.
What did I say
I
to
mean,
Franz
you
while
did,
he was
yeah.
going up the stairs? I said, "Don't kill him." That is what I said.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, you cannot say you didn't do anything violent.
I didn't do
No,
anything
you
that would
murder
damage a
anyone.
creature.
You
Uh,
just-
What is happening?
You are an
right now?
accessory to murder.
You are an accessory
Anyway.
to murder. You are an accessory to murder. You would go to
In a
jail
weird,
just
twisted
like
world
us.
where we work for weird people. Now let's go ahead and
It's just happening.
let's get Dawn to somebody who can
You
help him.
realize that in order to save any of the people that you're talking about saving, we're gonna have to murder some people, right?
Yes, but we
Okay.
there's a difference between self-defense when you're trying to do, the right thing.
It's not self-defense when you're infiltrating.
Technically,
someplace
I was
and murdering them.
I was. If you want to go technical, mine was self-defense. I'm the only one who took damage.
None of this was self-defense.
I'm just saying technically.
But we
Oh
were
my
under
God.
the assumption that someone was being held captive in a basement.
I take a deep sigh and I say, we need to be more responsible with the powers that we have.
No
We-
shit.
Wait, can we see your deed?
Is that Brew just said that?
Yeah, Brew
Okay.
definitely
Now,
says
come
that.
on, let's get Dawn to somebody who can help.
If you don't get
Brew, you
off
wanna
your high
come with?
horse at some point, Em.
What's her
Uh,
name?
We're gonna have
Were you down in the
problems.
basement?
a labor.
Aleva. She's gonna be okay if we head out with you two?
Yeah, we'll
she's
let her know.
She's pretty tipsy, eh?
She's just hungover.
Yeah, alright.
I mean, you could still be drunk.
So we'll take him to the
Sounds
illegal
wild.
cleric.
Okay. How are
That's
you gonna get there in the sense that it's like you're carrying some half dead dude on a stretcher?
Well, let's try to bandage him up a little bit
I'm gonna
and
take out my magic
can we
badge
get-
and turn it into a health. Can I turn it into a health badge and just be
Yes!
walking down the goddamn road? Because
I
I'm
love
fucking
it.
done.
Yo,
Like, Ash is over it. He's just
Okay.
like, magic. I guess everyone knows I do it now. Let's
Yeah.
go.
okay. I would say with your deception badge.
Badge of
and-
doctor.
Yep. You're able to pose as a cleric crew, just carrying him down to the illegal doctor.
With a minor illusion like a wimple on me.
Sure.
Alright, so we get to our illegal cleric friend.
Mhm.
I'll be like,
Oh.
Brew, this is what's his name again?
God, I forgot his name. I thought this was a one and done character. Marty.
Brew, this is Marty. Marty, this is Brew and Dawn. Now I'm gonna need you. You know how to, do some Healy things, right?
Yeah.
Well, Dawn got stabbed by we don't know how. He just got
When
stabbed.
you say that,
So literally Ash just stops him and he says, we murdered this person.
why?
Because we thought he was attacking someone, when actually he wasn't, because we listened to a
It's
crazy
a
old man.
giant misunderstanding.
It's a giant
Wait,
misunderstanding.
where's the old man right
He
now?
should
Yeah,
gone.
where is the old
We
man?
did nothing. I was waiting for someone to say something because we just left him in the
We
house
just left him
with the
out.
girl.
Yeah. Yep, we did.
Well,
Why did you have to say that out loud?
I think it's
Because
fair
I
to-
don't think that Brew
I know,
would have
y'all
let
were
him
yelling
say
Yeah,
at
that.
but we wouldn't have let
Yeah.
that happen. And we would. It's like we wouldn't notice the raving man
Yeah.
as we're leaving. Like, oh, bye. So, me and let's just kick him out. He didn't actually commit a real crime.
But we did.
Yeah, you would have kicked him out, and here's the thing, he
No, I
would
like
have
it's
went
canon
down
that
the.
we left him.
I mean, that's what happened.
I mean, no, Brew would have not let it happen.
Watch the
to
house
us.
while we're gone.
I mean, the image is too funny to not think about, but definitely, he would have just went down the road screaming more and more about the shapeshifters that took his daughter into the
Okay.
basement.
That's fine.
So he's not in the house. So you're at Marty's place.
We're at Marty's place.
And Brew turns and he goes, "You have to help him. He's dying."
We're trying.
And
He's got 18 hours.
Got 18 hours.
it's
17 hours.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still it's a long
And
list.
Marty looks down and he looks to you and goes, "This isn't going on the Thieves Guild tab again. You're gonna have to pony up for this."
How much is it gonna cost?
He looks because he's pretty dead.
I know how much magic takes. Don't even give me that.
50
Unless you're
gold.
brewing potions.
50 gold?
Yup.
Oh,
5-0.
man.
Alright.
Yup.
How about
Because I know
How
you're gonna
about-
pay it.
how about 30 gold? 10 from each of us.
That
And
works
10
in
from
our
him
favor.
And 10 from him. 50.
They don't have a part in this.
Except his own life.
Brew turns to you and goes, "Are you really haggling? He's dying here. You guys did it 50 gold. Pay the guy the 50 gold."
Oh, if we don't have the
Brew.
gold.
I just have a question. Have you ever seen 50 gold in your life?
He's so mad at that question. And he goes, "No, but you look like the people that have that kind of gold.
I'm
Because you did-
15!
Because you didn't say we don't have that kind of gold. You said, can we do it for less?"
Only rich people see that.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you rolling dice for? You trying to convince
I'm
him?
no, I'm trying to. It is also that, but I
Yeah.
am going to try and persuade this person into going for 30.
And since we both have,
No.
I assume we both have +8 to persuasion. Can I make that check too?
You can try.
Sure. That's an 18.
10. I roll another 2 with this
Oh my
dice.
God.
This dice rolls a lot of 2s.
You got the highest
I'm
one.
worried about my new
15-year-old
dice.
And
puppy
he's
dog,
look,
guys.
yeah, he's
It's
looking
like,
at you.
look, I'm a struggling student, okay? I'll
You're
pay
not.
but
You're not. You're not. I know the kind of gold that Joe has in her
that
place.
Joe
That you
has.
have
That
access
Joe.
to.
Oh my gosh.
Have you
This
met
is such a-
Joe?
All right.
Have you have you seen her? Had a conversation with her?
I
Talked
just
to
take
anyone?
50. No.
What? What do you do?
I pull. I'm checking my pockets on my jacket, looking for loose change, and I oh right, and he takes a thing off his pocket and he hands it over.
What is it? Is it the necessity pocket?
It is not the necessity pocket.
I'm gonna roll a
Is in
perception
fact
check.
the fake coins.
Is it 50 gold worth of fake coins?
It is. It's as much as I need it to be.
Oh my God. Okay, roll a deception check.
I feel like with disadvantage.
And
'cause
I
she's
don't know about
associated
this.
with the thieves guild.
Well, he hasn't met him before, so.
Oh.
It's not in that
It's not in that one, and I always roll with advantage now because of actor.
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
God.
Oh
my
That's so beautiful. Okay, but it is still a 15, bitches.
He rolled a 19 on the dying
Oh,
site. I'm sorry.
it's totally fine. It's fine. He pulls actual 50 out of his pocket. He hands it over.
Okay, he's like, don't you try. Okay.
He's just like, I had to
Yeah.
try. Had to try one time.
I think drinking brew was a bad idea.
Whatever.
All right.
So
he wasn't
the
gonna
cleric,
go. He wasn't gonna let us go by ourselves. It wasn't gonna happen.
yeah. So the cleric, he sits down, with him, and he goes, "This is gonna take a while. It's gonna take about an hour, but I'm gonna do this for
Cool.
you."
Brew, stay here.
Bruce.
And
Hopefully
Brew,
we'll never
what
see
are you
each
talking
other
about?
again.
You're staying here the whole time to make sure that this
If he
happens.
what
Sorry,
happens
I was
if he
actually running an
dies?
errand before this. I gotta go finish that.
No, you don't. You were running an
Are
errand.
you gonna stop me?
Is that a threat?
No, it's not a threat. I'm saying he doesn't really.
It kinda sounded
He's not
like a
holding all the cards
Actually, no.
here.
It kind of sounded like a threat.
All right. Well,
What are you gonna do to him if he says no? You can't leave or bars
I'm
the
just
door.
going to leave.
What happened to Miss Common decency over there?
Oh yeah, I was the one who just stabbed a stranger today.
You're the one that decides to sit on their high horse saying you didn't do anything violent.
Oh, I didn't. And now,
I will do you the courteous
Uh-huh.
favor of staying here.
all right. I just want to go talk to this Astrid. That's all.
Have fun.
All right.
Fine.
Don't
you
die.
do whatever you
I
want
was
to
the
do.
one who was most suspicious of the old man.
Oh,
You guys
yes.
just believed
You
him at your
keep
first word.
convincing yourself that you are
But you
better than
still
us.
came along
Have
with
a good
it.
day.
I don't think I'm better than you.
But that's how it sounds.
I just think
You
that
sound like it.
you guys
the
underestimate your
accent.
own power.
It's not.
No, I was very. I knew what I was
overestimated
doing.
our own power. We knew we were killing him. We were aware.
We estimated accurately.
Then maybe you need to, wind it back a little bit.
No. Maybe you need to get on our level.
Just go
He pulls out a flask and hands it to
I'm like, hey, Brew, you want to get some brews while we wait?
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go see Astrid. I'm done with these two for a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay.
This is where you can buy candles,
We're
by the
gonna
way.
We're going.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
do want to
God.
buy some candles, so I'll be back here a little bit
And then you
later.
left.
I need to hire
We're gonna
Astrid
go
first.
kill someone dead. I just want you to know.
Oh my God.
Well, that was already the plan. I mean,
It is. Yes, it is. You are right.
All right.
You get to Astrid's.
This is so.
I thought she was just like a visiting person.
What?
It's not her house.
What? No. She has her own. She has her own office of operation.
Oh, okay.
Not quite as nice as the other
Stay here.
dudes.
I'm gonna buy
So
more candles.
it's like a little office attached to her house. So
Okay.
she's sitting there, she's scribbling things down, checking numbers, and you could Actually, no. It's an office, but it has like it's a half door. So you could look in and see what she's doing, and her head is just in her work right now. And she's scrambling to make sure everything is okay.
I'm gonna knock on the door.
Oh, hello, dude. Come in.
Oh, are you Astrid?
Yes, I am. And she's quickly like making sure she's like looking more professional because she was like hunched over, like nose, to the paper, and then she's like back, and now she's. How can I help you?
Oh, yeah,
Very different from Dur, who's just like, yeah, what do you want?
I take a deep breath and try to collect myself for the day that I've had. And I say, hi, yes, I'm looking to hire somebody who's good at finding people.
That would be me. What can I do for you?
Good. So, I have some friends, half family members. You know how it can be in these close-knit neighborhoods. Who, what part of town are we in? I'm sorry.
It's like the southern part of Taijo.
So how far from where I grew up?
Like 3 neighborhoods over.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I was friends, family members who, during the chaos that came after 3 years ago,
Yep.
they ended up slaves down south.
Oh.
And
Well,
I'm
that's
looking,
worse than I usually hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking to find them. Now, my expectation for you would just be to find them. If it's easy to get them out, or then go right ahead. But I'd mostly be interested in just learning where they are, and have the legwork done for me in regards to that, so that when I head down, I'm a capable fighter myself. I can get them out. I don't have to. I just go get the job done a little more easily. I'm not terrible at finding things in people, but it seems like that's more up your alley, not up mine. And so I'd be looking to hire you for that job. I'd take you around back where I'm from and introduce you to the concerned parties, and you could get some more physical descriptions and names and dates and things of that nature.
Sure. So, and she goes, what information do you have so far?
Well, I know that it's a brother and sister who were sold this. Correct me if I'm
Or-
wrong on any of my information.
Yeah, and she actually goes, we'll let the other concerned parties describe them. I'm more concerned about, the South is a very large area. How
Could you remind me? Could
Kentucky.
Kelly
Yeah.
remind me of
Yeah.
what I learned when I was sleuthing around town earlier?
a general like town, or there's like 2 nearby towns of operations
Can you
where
give me
they
their
probably
names?
went to. I didn't give you the names,
All right.
but I'll come up with
pull
that.
out they've got a map, and I say these 2 towns. I talked to somebody who recalled them going through the slave system, and he told me that that's around where they should be.
Okay. Now, just so you know, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the underbelly, but if I find them and I go back, they move slaves, very quickly. So if I
Well-
find that information,
From what I understand, they're in a pretty stable location right now. But because they're at the destination, they're not in the tube right now.
Mhm.
But no, that's still helpful, even if you have a little bit of outdated information when I'm on my way back through town.
Mhm.
So how much would it? Go
Another
ahead.
question.
Yes.
Not that I want to engage in the slave trading, but sometimes I'm more concerned about getting them home than beating the system. So would you be all right with me buying them back, and if at what cost would you be able
Of course. I have. Well, first of all, let's get your fee out of the way, and then.
Typically my fee is 2 gold per day to do the groundwork, the initial work, because I'm going to be working on your case as well as other things that I need to investigate in the city. I'll probably do about 3 or 4 days worth of that in town while I'm doing other cases, and then my travel fee is 5 gold a day. It's probably going to take me 2 weeks to get there, to get back, and then a week there. So 21 days at 5, 3 or 4 at whatever I said, 3? 2 gold a day?
Mm-hmm.
2 gold a day.
All
So
right.
that's my fee.
All right.
Half up front.
Yep.
And
How about this? Here's 200 gold. And I hand him 200 gold.
I don't know math. Is that more than what she would have gotten 21 times?
21 times 5 is
Oh
100.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
yeah.
like he was
Yeah.
he was guesstimating 100 to 110ish.
Yeah.
And so I'm giving him 200, and I'll say, if you can buy him out, great. And if he costs more than what is here, I'll pay that to you on my next time around. You know the people I associate with in town. So if if you're, I don't think the worst case scenario, for some reason I die or something, and you have to overpay, these families, I'm sure, would be willing to help pitch in. But I would ideally like to them not to have to pitch in. Yes. Anything else?
No, I imagine you spent some time telling her the information that you know, and then going to giving her the directions to your aunts, pretty much.
Okay, I'm gonna deduct
Yep.
that money from my thing. Now I have 200 and 50 plus 43. 201 gold. Okay. Now that's how much I have left. I had 401 before. All right. So then I would like to head back to the clerics. I assume that they might even be long gone, but I want to perhaps buy a candle. So.
Okay.
What are these candles that we can buy?
Good. Tell us at the same time.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay. One second. I'll get to that in a.
We don't need to worry about that
Yeah.
at this minute.
And I know what you're talking about now. Think of some things that you have in your inventory already.
No, I know exactly what I do. It's like, do I need to go get lucky?
Well, we'll get. I don't think so, but anyway. So yeah, these candles. It's pretty much you can cast a level 1 or a level 2 spell once a day with.
Unless it's fear.
Yeah. Which was that was oops, but that one was too fun to not have. But yeah, so it's I think it was 50-75.
It was. I think it was. It's scaled based on the level. So I think it was 50 for a first level.
Yeah.
75 for a
Any
second.
spell?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like an open world type thing where like I don't want to say like, oh, you can only find these 4 things in here. It's just I think it'd be
Do we have to
funner.
attune to the candles?
No.
All right.
You just light it and it goes. So once per day.
Any suggestion candles?
I think actually any spell within reason, because the thing is like it doesn't like you have to speak a command word to it. So like
Gotcha.
And so
unless you wanted to do like a fear candle where a command candle where you go like run, like they have to inhale the smoke.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you wanted to do command. One second. I mean, you could ask someone if
how
they
much are the level 2 candles?
75
And there's no level 3s or anything, right? Just level 1 and 2.
I got the only level
by sheer chance.
by sheer chance.
Did you want to ask maybe the cleric about the list of things, or
Yeah.
your party members?
Yeah. So I forgot about it, but they the guild decoded that thing from Ed's journal. And
Another like week 1 thing.
that was a week 1 thing, and I'll just post it to everyone in the group chat.
Alright. Cleric. I'm looking for a spell that could maybe cast heal on anyone in the candlelight.
That would be, you're probably looking for prayer healing?
Yeah. Which I think is level 3.
Nope. Second level.
Nice. And at this point, Don he's stable. He's not looking great, but he's breathing. He seems like he'll be awake soon. And Brew isn't willing to take him out yet until he's like able to walk and like seems pretty okay. because here's magic healer person. I don't want to leave their site.
Yeah.
And
prayer of healing
they
will be
genuinely
great.
do not like you as people.
That's fine.
They don't like your power, but it's more like, see, this is what happens when magic users come here, but they're not in a sense like, oh, we're going to tattle on you. It's just you guys are overpowered and you need to learn your place in using this. And that's what you would have gotten in any conversation that you had with him, or
Don't try to talk to him unless
or
he tries
that
to talk to
he
me.
tried to like not shame you, but like scold you. That's the word I'm looking for. So sorry. Prayer of healing would be 75.
Okay.
Zone of truth.
Nice.
Why don't I'm looking through it right now,
Mhm.
but so we can just continue
Hmm.
on from
Yeah.
and I will send you. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy a level 1 and a level 2, but I'm not sure which ones
Mhm.
before we head out. So
Sure thing. Did everyone get to look at the thing that Corey sent in the group chat? Or I'll just say, so this is the decoded thing. If you want to create something magical, you have to obtain the following elements. The adornment you want to embody with magic, 100 gold coins, the symbol of the god of the magical type of the work, the symbol of the god of the magical type, the work of a magical animal. Mix these ingredients and you could get the thing that you want. If you want to create something magical, you have to figure it out. You posted it twice.
No. Well, this is why we need to
Mm-hmm.
get lucky.
Why?
For my pun,
Why do we need to get lucky?
magical animal. It's a bad joke. Song.
Mm-hmm.
That pun.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. How I do.
And that's what you get when you let your heart.
so I'd like to get one of my candles spiritual weapon. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of them.
Yep, because that's a level 1, isn't it?
Yeah. And can I use it as a bonus action? Because that's a bonus action spell.
Whatever the.
Okay.
Wait.
Wait.
'Cause you have to light the candle, right?
Yeah. You have to light the candle beforehand, but you can, like, you could have the candle lit before, and then it would you could as a bonus action summon it. So like lighting the candle before battle, and then you could summon it as a bonus action.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, imagine if you want to take it out of your
So-
backpack.
so that's a
and
bad one.
Yeah.
do all of that stuff. Like you'd have to.
All right. So that's not a good one to have.
Zone of truth. I'm telling you.
Hmm.
With everyone within light of the candle.
Beautiful. The darker the place, the more people you get.
Yeah. Be great.
All right. So where do you go from here?
I guess we have to go talk to your brother.
Yeah, actually, before we leave, I want to ask the cleric if he knows anything about this incantation thing.
He goes, well, I got a lot of symbols of the gods, as I showed you, and as you bought and your friend bought. Please don't use that on me again. But price is going up since you need it.
I mean, I'm Gucci. Do you want one of the runes?
What does it actually do?
They're all different. So, like, mine, this is
Oh.
stuff. Mine is a switch body rune. So I switch bodies with people.
Don't ever do that.
That's funny.
I switch
I was
bodies.
15 once. I don't
switch
need to be
bodies
15
with you.
again.
I'm like, oh, why do I hurt all over?
Switch bodies with me when you
I'm
turn
so
at
sweaty.
least 18. That is 3 more years and you can use that on me, otherwise no. So it can do whatever? Like literally it's a rune that can do whatever?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it can do a bunch of different things. We don't know. We only know what mine does.
Yeah, there's like runes for different, and you could it's nothing you've really encountered before outside of churches. So you imagine they're all some sort of religious / God thing. And he's got about half a dozen of them, or a dozen of them. 2 of which they own now.
How much did they cost?
150 gold now.
Nah.
150.
Wait.
Lord,
so
no.
for me too?
Yeah.
Because I'm coming in later to buy them?
No, this isn't the
well,
candles. This is the
It's the
the
sigils.
the sigils. Yeah.
And pretty much he's up in the price because Franz showed him a list saying that they need symbols from the.
Okay. Okay.
How do you find Steed?
I will. Let you.
Wait, I'm
finish.
sorry.
Find Steed?
That's a level 3, isn't it?
No, that's level 2.
That's level
Oh
2.
shit! I love it. Go for it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because paladins are like half casters. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm making sure that it's okay with you.
Yeah. No, I love Feinsteed. Now you both can have little celestial companions.
Have a celestial companion?
No, sorry, he does.
Okay.
Fuck
I
it.
mean, you have unlimited ferrets.
I do have unlimited ferrets. It's true.
Fuck it. I'm gonna get the Zone of Truth candle.
Damn it.
Cause it's not
Wait,
worth.
so wait. What do we need these runes for? Why do we care?
You don't have to care.
They just do stuff that's cool.
Potentially. So like, okay, 150. I'll agree to that price, but I want to be able to inspect them first to make sure I know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Can I inspect the runes?
Yeah. Which one are you gonna go for?
What are my options?
They all look like shapes to you.
Cool. Do I recall these runes from anything we've like done in the past?
Roll a history check.
Oh.
Well, I did roll a history check. And it's 7.
Yeah, you know you've seen them before. You just forget where or how. It's been a weird few weeks.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up the one that's closest to me and
Okay.
just see what it tries to do.
Yeah.
Now that's a 2, but I'm lucky and I haven't used a luck point in a while.
Mhm.
That's a lot better. Investigation or perception?
Arcana or
Arcana.
religion.
Okay, that's gonna be any of those 2 or any of those 4, because huge difference in my roll.
It could either be Arcana or religion.
Okay, cool. 18.
Okay. You try and use it and it rejects you. And you're looking at it and you go, oh, I remember this. And it was, you didn't see Mags at the time, dudes, but you remember seeing this in one of the books that Mags took from the underground. But you don't remember like who it is, where it's for, or anything like that.
You want to try this one out?
The second
Sure.
candle I'd like to buy is there's a spell
Went
called
somewhere.
Arcanist or
Fine.
Mistal's Magic Aura, which it's a wizard spell and it allows you to remove some, like if you have like a magical item for 24 hours, it can't be detected from like things like eyes that would detect magic or anything.
Okay.
Or you can mask creature types. So like you could like if I cast it on myself, you wouldn't be able to tell that I'm a changeling with magic.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I'll do that.
Okay. What were you rolling?
I was rolling history or arcana. Either one of them would be 16.
Okay. You get the same thing, like you're like, yeah, this is something that, I don't know, maybe I've seen like somewhere in a church, but like I don't really know what it is. I don't even know if it's actually the same exact thing I've seen before. Just based on your background, I don't think that you would have encountered this thing necessarily. So
But it doesn't. So it doesn't do anything.
Doesn't
when
do
I try
anything
to
to
get.
Nope.
Can I just try all of them?
you can. Roll. Yeah, just roll an overall. Actually, no, roll a d12 and let's see.
5.
Okay. Yeah, none of them do anything when you try and
Can
mess with
I
it.
help him?
Mhm.
By like, oh yeah, I kind of
You're
remember
fine.
some of these sigils.
I appreciate
'Cause
it. Thank you.
Ash wasn't with us during that part of the adventure.
By the way, I don't
Yeah.
think you're actually a bad person.
No, I
know. No, I
roll the d12 again. You got advantage on it.
Oh,
I'm helping you. Don't fuck it up though.
probably gonna fuck that up.
Probably.
10.
Hey!
Okay. One of them does something, and it's something that it's a sigil that looks very similar to yours. And it sparks in your hand. It doesn't do anything. Like it's not like being it's not being wielded properly. But you get a reaction out of that one. That's
Alright.
it.
Then we
Yeah.
meet up. Sorry, go ahead.
He's not gonna buy any.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have to.
Just because, yeah.
Do I get a sense that rune is doing anything when I handle it?
I mean, when you handle it, it does the same thing. It sparks, but like you don't know how to use it yet, or it's not the right time to be used yet.
Okay. You said 150.
Yep.
I'll do it for 144.
Okay.
I saved 6 gold, guys.
Yep.
Look at my haggling skills.
Yep. I mean, he's fine with that.
Do you want to roleplay me getting those candles?
Unless you're looking to haggle.
Sure, I'll try to haggle close. So I'm going.
No, I'm kidding.
So I'm going 2. Can we go down to 140?
What would have been?
Would have been 150. 275.
144.
An odd price to be sure, but I'll add 6 gold back into my inventory. And then I want to show him how this magical candle works. The
Which one?
Arcana Aura,
Okay.
Arcanist Aura one.
Okay.
And I show him we sit down. And I'm like, I think this can be used, and then we take out one of the detect magic candles. And it's like, okay, so use that, and the whole room lights up. And I'll take one of the other candles and I'll cast the aura on it. And then it's no longer detectable by detect magic. I'm like,
Because you broke my candle. No, I'm kidding.
and then I'll be like, this could be really useful in your line of work, eh? You should try to get more of these.
Yeah, but we kind of just happened upon these. It's not like I could make them.
That way, that's.
We might be able to make them.
What do I look like, an artificer?
All right. So I'll head back to them. Oh wait!
Ruined
Oh my
Dawn.
God! Is there a remove curse 2nd level?
Just so you know, he did remove curse to get
Oh,
it
well, I
off.
could remove curse to get it off me.
Once per
Oh
day.
my God! Can I change it? Can I change it? Can I change it?
And he
I don't want the
goes,
aura one. That's just role play. I want the one that actually increases my.
I think he goes, I don't know, it's in your inventory now. Maybe you can come back one day and
I have 56 gold. Wait, 57 gold.
he thinks and he
I
goes,
have 2
have a
pan pipes. The magical
What?
pan pipes. Can I trade a pan pipe for the other candle?
I'll take a pan pipe and that 56 gold.
That's not a good deal. These pan pipes are worth more than these candles are. They're worth 100 plus gold.
Are
But your
they?
need for that candle
Yeah.
is quite high.
Yeah.
Well, that all happened out of character.
He goes, I'll take a pan pipe and that candle back and 25 gold.
25. Make it 20 and you got a deal.
Alright?
Alright, so I remove 1 pan pipe
Mm-hmm.
and 20 gold.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have also
the-
a remove curse.
Yeah,
Ash
so
in his head is just like, do you know how much?
You're not there.
Yeah, we are here. We are literally standing in the same room.
No, I left, did the whole thing with Astrid. I
And
assume
we
you guys
stayed
stayed
here.
there for 2 hours while
Yeah, I
you were
smoked
Yeah.
weed.
Oh wow,
I was getting
thought
high
they
back in
went
the
there.
Where would we go?
I thought you would go back to your place. And that's where I was meeting up with you.
No.
Okay.
No.
I did not realize that they were there this whole time, but that's fine. All right.
I walk out into the chapel. Like,
I'm
oh,
not-
my brother's already here. Perfect.
Remove curse
He's
candle.
praying, as paladins do.
Wait, is remove curse 1st or 2nd level?
it's 2nd level. Actually, no, isn't it? No, it's a 3rd level.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
1 sec.
Depends on the caster.
Bestow curse. Nope, it's third.
No, it's
it's
third
third level.
level.
So I just
Yeah.
don't have it right.
Yeah, so then it would just be whatever you originally
I just
bought.
I just add a pan pipe back. Can I sell him a pan pipe? I don't have very much money.
He's only looking to wheel and deal. So
Okay.
Don't worry. My brother once
Darn,
gets
remove-
3rd level spells at level 11
I think
or whatever.
warlocks can learn remove curse. Maybe that's what I learned next
Right.
level. Well, no, next level is 4th level spells. It's just I don't have. I'm not a
Uh.
wizard. I can't just learn spells.
yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, you have a number of spells known,
Why
right?
don't you talk to your god?
What?
I mean, your patron, they give you the power. I'm sure you could be like, hey, I need a quickie.
Well, no, it's like
I don't know how your relationship with your patron is.
it's pretty good.
I don't know. It sounds patronizing.
Anyways, is there like a stronger remove curse kind of?
I
spell?
actually looked and not really.
Oh.
So you're gonna have to find like a really high level cleric or paladin that could just cast it at a higher level.
Also, like remove curse doesn't remove the curse from the item.
Yeah. It
It-
just removes it just
That's
breaks
what
the
I'm wondering.
enchantment.
Is there a spell that's like?
I'm sure we can find some witch somewhere
Yeah.
that
Like
has a bath that we can put it in.
yeah, like
Yeah.
mechanically speaking, I'm just looking at remove curse and just having them cast it with like a 7th or 8th level spell slot. So like it's the same thing, it's just more powerful. So even though there's not a spell that exists in the rulebook from what I've seen in a quick Google search,
Go find a hermit
They
archmage.
you just have to find someone who's able to cast it at a higher level than 3rd.
Find you a
Alright, so remove the remove curse candle from my inventory and
Do
try.
remove cursed bath.
What?
Let it sit for 48 hours.
What?
To put it in a remove cursed bath
Oh.
and let it sit
yes.
for 48 hours.
So just put it in a bag of
All right.
rice.
So now, so
Right.
are we getting ready? So are we like gonna take a long rest and head out to northeast?
I'm assuming
Wait, we have to talk to Bro first.
yeah, my brosif.
Yeah,
So
because
I'll let them know that it all worked out with. I found somebody. They're gonna go get the information. Gave them a bunch of money. They might just be able to buy my friends out of slavery. If not, then we'll go rescue them, or I'll go rescue them. I don't know if you guys are that invested. But it all worked out.
Yay!
cool.
We almost got all the candles we want. So I'm gonna light my Zone of Truth candle. I'm gonna turn to Ash and say, "So what really happened underneath the fountain?"
It's, I believe. I mean, the
Oh,
way Zone of
no.
Truth works is
If you
like
don't have to.
yeah, it's not a compelling. It's like
Yeah.
you can leave the zone whenever you want. You have to be a willing creature in a Zone of Truth.
You have to do a save. It's just, all these are save 15. So if you wanted to save first, and then would Ash know that he doesn't have to talk?
I mean,
That's
Ash
the thing.
doesn't. I mean, that would be. I could make an Arcana check for that. We can see.
Well, no. The thing is, you would know if you were or were not under the effect of
Right.
magic.
So
like,
first I
because
want
Zone
to
of
see.
Truth, you know if you save or not because you know if you're compelled to
Oh,
speak
thank
the
God,
truth.
it's a charisma saving throw. Of course, I'm in a nat 1. You just know it because that's how this works.
Poor Franz.
3.
Yeah.
It's still an 11, but not a
Okay.
15.
So you know that he is using magic on you right now?
To compel you to speak the truth.
So you know whether a creature succeeds or fails on a saving throw.
Then he knows that you
Yeah.
failed.
Yeah, I know that you failed.
So
You can be evasive as long as within the boundaries of truth. So I'm asking you, what really happened? What did you leave out?
He just kind of looks at you.
Am I in this
And
Zone of
looks
Truth
at-
right now?
Looks at
I
the
mean, it's a
candle.
15-foot radius.
So I guess I'll
Yeah.
make the save.
Oh, I have to make it too, by the way.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
That's
Everyone-
it's a 7 or a 1, so
That's
Fox
a
reroll.
28.
Nice.
oh, I crit. So
Nice.
The only person compelled is
It's all
you.
good. That's how it works. I told you.
It's funny, Ash doesn't know that I succeeded, right? Because it's only the person who cast the spell
Yeah.
who knows who succeeded or not.
Probably.
So Ash
Also,
doesn't-
he wouldn't even. I don't know. He doesn't really care.
You don't have to tell us if you don't want to.
Yeah, I know. I'm just deciding whether or not I'm going to. I think I'm not.
okay.
One day I'll tell you when you're older.
My 16th birthday can't come fast enough.
When is your 16th birthday? You're gonna do something for that.
It's coming up. I haven't decided exactly when, but it's coming up.
I don't have my D30 with me, otherwise I would be like, you could roll for it.
Ooh, there's a D30.
There's a D30, and I own one specifically for birthdays.
Do you have one for like?
Well,
There's
February?
31 days in some months. I'm joking.
We'll get over it.
We'll figure it out. So yeah, I think Brother Dearest is hanging, waiting at the Thieves Guild for you because he knows that that's like the point that you eventually
Yeah.
always end up going to. So he would have gone to the town hall like he said he would after you had your carnival episode. What?
You can roll a D20 and a D12, and then if you roll a 32, you make that the 1 because you can't roll a 1 on. And then there you go. That's
But
it.
then you won't be able to roll the first day of the month.
Here's what I'm going
No, that's
to.
what I'm saying. There's no 32nd day of the month. And so a 20 plus a 12 is the first day of
The
the
day
month.
is not the issue, it's the month. It's
Well, then
happening.
just roll a d12 after that.
Cool.
So,
what is
October.
It's
what
in
is the
October.
current?
What's the current month?
It's currently June.
Okay, we're.
Is it though? I mean, how far north are we in the hemisphere if the sun is setting at 6 p.m.?
I can't believe you pulled that receipt out on me.
I feel like.
Oh my god.
Hey!
I know. I literally told her, like, she goes, "Well, what time does the sun set?" Like in our RP
Because
thing.
I needed to know.
It's
because I
at
was
least
so
September
big.
then.
Fine.
It's at least September.
September.
All right, I'll roll a dice to see when my birthday
Oh my
is.
god.
6. I'm in June.
Okay.
I wish it was June.
Okay, so my birthday is next month.
Mine is in December.
Oh my
Hey.
god. And we all learned something about each other today.
Oh no.
What's the
What?
I thought you were rolling for the day.
I was trying.
Mm.
7th December 7th.
Oh,
Hey, Old Man Winter Day. That makes me
fair enough. So yeah, Tomas would have been waiting for you in your, like, cot, wherever you showed him it was.
By the way, you can't tell deliberate lies, so if you don't tell me when you're older, I don't know what happens.
I mean, you intend to tell.
I intend to tell you.
Yeah,
that.
but he can't speak a deliberate lie. So
Right.
like not like
So,
I'm
but
gonna
no, that means
Yeah.
I actually did, and I
Yeah,
do
you
intend to
intend.
tell you
Yeah.
when you're older,
All right.
and you have had the same experience.
bro. So good to see you. I give him a big old hug.
He hugs you
Aw.
back. He loves hugging you. And he goes, we were able to get some support up north. Some mercenary. There's some Inquisition heading up there.
Great.
But I mean, I guess it's better than that than nothing. People like us are going to have to be careful. But you know, more Inquisition up there means less in here, unless they plan on refilling.
Well, I mean, it's not like they really have much authority up north, do they?
Not yet. But I mean, they're looking to get their hands everywhere.
Yeah, we can try it.
Well, I've got some good news. You got 3 more. Help you.
Oh, cool. Who?
We have to stop on the way, though.
Yeah, we gotta.
You.
Yeah, hi.
I know. And he gives you another big hug because he thought that you were talking about, like, oh, I found 3 more mercenaries, and then he realized that no, you are coming with him. And he's just like so happy to have his baby brother at his side fighting dead things. And you know you already proved yourself like handy in battle. I don't know if he's fought with you yet, but
Fought
if
the
you're-
elephant.
Yes, that's right. Or you tamed it, so like he knows that you're good under pressure. So he doesn't know like your strength yet, but he knows that like you're valuable in battle as well. And he goes, well, it's good to have 3 fine friends.
I'm sure we can go get Drag Lucky into this too.
Oh, we can definitely drag
Oh.
Lucky into this. Oh, you know his mother would love that.
Get him
And
right.
he's like he's so, and he pauses and he's like,
We just need to teach him how to turn into a bear.
but he's, oh, forgive me for
I imagine
speaking
we're kind of
illy, but
twinky.
God damn it. He is, but stop.
Imagine like a Shaggy.
Oh my god. Actually, I
Let me
saved
come
a
in on her.
picture. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my god.
I love this actually. When you know that happens in this room, it makes me
I
so
actually saved a picture of what I
Ash
imagined
is just
Lucky
here
would
for
look
that.
like.
He is here for
Where's
that.
This is all in character.
I know.
Why is my stuff not opening? I want to find the picture here. Let me just find it. But anyway, Tomas like stops and he's like, I don't know. He's, forgive me for speaking ugly, but he's quite annoying.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, that's why you throw that shit.
Yeah, you put him with the team of Inquisitors
Yeah, that's not
and
gonna.
just let them
They'll keep
be
you warm
really
at night.
annoyed.
No.
You send him as a dog reconnaissance with the Inquisition.
No. Where is it? Okay, 1 second. Anyway, so I'll stop looking for the picture that I found forever ago and never found again.
Oh no.
Cause like I was like, this is lucky, but I can't find. Pretty much, I googled like every variation of like blonde guy hipster.
Yes. I mean, that is lucky. He is a blonde guy hipster.
But yeah. Oh, here we go. It's like something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
for lucky, it's not the exact picture, but this is.
I imagine
He's-
it's a little bit of. I imagine he's not well kept though. So I imagine he's got like scrubs.
very well.
Yeah.
Oh, he's very well kept.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Oh.
not so much anymore.
I mean, when you met him, he was like you fucked him up, so he was a little ragtag. But like as soon as he was allowed to shower and take care of himself, he's
Yeah.
very.
So he's hot.
What's that guy? That's that singer that everyone
Justin
loves and
Bieber?
hates. Yeah.
I was gonna say you're cheering.
I was thinking Justin Bieber. He is Justin Bieber.
A little bit without the tattoos.
Does
but-
Justin Bieber actually have tattoos?
I don't know. But long story short, you have Tomas, and Tomas does not want Lucky.
It's fine.
And in fact,
He's got smites.
do a perception check as you like went into the
Okay, I'm using another lucky.
Lucky.
17.
Okay.
19.
The
15.
two of you, yeah, with a 15 you saw too. Lucky was working on the floor, like Kingsley was doing. So you gather Joe's putting him to work, and that's kind of the first step into becoming part of the Thieves Guild and
Aww.
working. So he's not good at keeping secrets, but he is good at getting into places and scouting.
You just don't get him talking.
So
Get out his tongue.
that's you see that Lucky's been adopted.
Glad he finally
knows?
found a good home.
Yeah, maybe these people will love him more than his.
I mean, I love Lucky.
Yeah.
We all love Lucky.
Ash loves him deeply. He loves Lucky.
Mhm.
He's a bro.
So you got that. So what do you do? It's almost time where you have to start heading up north or doing your things. And actually, Tomas, he asked you. So you said we needed to stop somewhere.
Yeah, there's like a concentration camp of shapeshifters that we have to free before we, head up to kill dead things.
Shapeshifters, like creatures.
I don't really know. They just use the word shapeshifter. I think people.
Okay, because the shapeshifters I've encountered have mostly been not people, but
Pretty sure it's people because I think
Creatures.
they were like putting them in to replace
Mhm.
people that.
And plus, you can't say no because we're gonna have the best side quest of all time with his mom.
who's your mom?
We don't need to have a side quest with my mom. Unless you really want a whole lot of mercenaries. And then
We kind of need a whole lot of mercenaries. Like that is why I came here.
So
Literally
like,
why I came here.
turning to M, he goes,
So I
"Em,
would love to meet your mother.
That's how Tomas
you have
met.
to you're gonna be mad and that's fine. It's okay to have feelings. So Answith Crane is about a little bit
Yeah.
north of here. And she
Oh,
might have some.
That's
Oh, that ends with.
your,
That's my mother.
your mom is a terrible person.
Yeah, she is.
But she
Oh.
has mercenaries.
Lots.
Oh, you're alright. That's all.
Alright, there you go.
Good thing it wasn't Boggs. At least.
I feel like Boggs would have just murdered him. Like, he
But
would
my
just-
favorite is when like Corey was like sitting like this and
No,
Leia
this-
was talking and then she said Answith was like Ash's mom and Corey just sits there and just, like the gears turn and then it's like it was beautiful.
It was truly
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, she has an entire corp of people.
Yeah.
It's Answith Corp, right?
Yeah.
Anne's
I mean, probably no one that she's currently using will be going. But she might have contacts.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be profitable for
What
her
would
to
she
send them in to
need?
die.
To divulge that or give us that.
I mean, if I go myself, I might be able to get some. If we go to her and try to trade, she's gonna want land in the north to just destroy however she feels fit.
How do you feel about the land in the north?
I mean, I'm quite attached to it.
Yeah. You know, the people there, you know, that whole thing that happened with the plant people and
Yeah,
stuff.
I remember that.
That's what would happen with anyone who lives in the north.
Well,
I mean, we could tell her that it's going to be fine and then just destroy all the people that she sends there, but that means pretty much a permanent post.
yeah. Well, Tomas, what's bigger? What's more important to you? The
I mean,
land or the dead that are on it?
I mean, I would want to get rid of the dead, and I want the people to go back to their homes in the land. It doesn't belong to Answith, and it's not ours to trade to her.
Yeah, but that's what she will request. Probably.
I mean,
I could be wrong.
we could talk and
We could. I mean, or I could just go get some contacts
Mm.
of some mercenaries.
I like that
that we
plan.
can't pay, but that should be. We can figure it out.
how we just tell them like, oops, sorry, at the end, because that's always works over really well.
It doesn't end in bloody death or
I mean,
destruction of all property.
that's probably a good thing.
It's fine. We can just put it on Answith's tab, and then when she doesn't say help you.
That'll be her problem. just kicking the can. Okay, when do we leave?
When do we go bright and early tomorrow? Have
Bright and
one
early.
last nap and head on our way.
Cool.
What time of day is it now? Sorry, Kelly.
It's not sunset, you motherfucker.
So it's 6 p.m.
Anyone else want to get rip-roaringly drunk with me?
You can
Yeah.
carouse.
I'm gonna go knock on Joe's door.
Yeah, Joe is working, but she says come in.
I'm going up north. Gonna rally some Northmen.
Okay.
Do you want to get drunk with us?
Why not?
Woo!
It's gonna be a while, Franz.
You just see this thumb come out the door and then leave.
Come out. I'm already ripping a bong.
Oh my
Lucky
God.
Kings, we're partying tonight.
Okay. Do you want to carouse or do you want to just leave it at it's
We don't have to do that in character. And you
Yeah.
coming with us to get rip-roaringly drunk?
Remind me to roll a
Yeah.
Constitution save. Leaving in the morning.
Do that too much.
It's
Do you
just
know any
another reason
places where they people fight each other?
Oh shit.
Are we going to some fighting pits?
If we're going to the Fight Club, bring your coin purse because we're about to make some mad bucks.
Why?
Last time I bet, I got some nice gold.
Are you? Who's fighting?
She's a very confident fighter.
Sometimes I just like to blow off some steam. It's been a long couple weeks.
Would you let them follow you into the fight ring again to bet on you, or?
I don't care.
Joe, we're going to the fight ring.
I don't know. I used to like this a lot, but now I'm me. I don't know if we'll see if I still like it.
It's fascinating.
Just imagine all the thieves killed at the Fight Club. Everyone's getting trashed while you're getting beat
Yeah,
up.
I think it's gonna be like a fight. Like a Thieves Guild drunk field trip to the Fight Club.
Fuck yeah. We're going through the sewers, killing doppelgangers
I feel
on the
like
way.
Yeah.
I feel like also Ash would know of several underground but high end fight clubs.
You
So
know
we could
what?
also do that, but we could go. So actually, what he says is, do you want to go low town or do you want to go high town?
Low town sounds nice.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna what's your strength mod? Okay.
That's what makes it so much fun.
Okay. Let's each roll.
Like last time.
What?
Yeah.
We just did a d20 roll and I net 20.
Yeah.
But the way you've been rolling.
You know what? Yeah, we'll just do a straight D20 roll, and his D20 has to beat my D20 if you want to win some money.
Oh, I'm not betting on this shit. I am gonna get really, really drunk.
Uh huh.
and hit on some beautiful people.
Okay.
I'm just like very calm in the ring.
Don't hit on
like,
Joe. She'll take
It's
off.
like kind of like a foreign experience for Em because Emma's never really experienced
She
this,
calls
Uh-huh.
or at
it
least
hand
Nora's
job.
never experienced this as Em.
Imagine she does.
And so like I get into the ring and it's just like I'm kind of like gliding through it. Like
Okay.
you know, I'm like less concerned with the fight and almost more concerned with like dodging blows.
Okay. So like tiring them out and then just
Mhm.
doing like the last. Very, very Sue of you.
Yes.
All right. Are you betting anything?
Oh yeah,
How much?
betting 100.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
19.
16.
Yeah, 200 baby.
Jesus. Yeah, because I was gonna say it's a,
How do I
like
beat
double
him
or
up?
nothing. You tell me.
Well, who am I fighting?
You fight a couple of people, and
All
it's kind of like a championship match, like last person standing at the end of the night. Can you roll a perception check?
Yes. Don't fuck me, blue dice.
That one.
You're fighting a lot of like weird. It's like you don't notice any correlation, but it's just like a lot of. It's a dragonborn. It's a kenku. It's a really weird looking dwarf. So it's just like all odd people that you're fighting.
Alright, so over the course of the night, I kind of just grow more sad because it's like I realize that like the magical people are kind of just put up for these others' entertainment to some
Yeah.
degree. Does it seem like these people might be slaves, like they're not fighting on their own behalf?
You can do an investigation check.
Sure.
Can I just ask
Don't
Joe
fuck
that
me.
question?
Don't fuck me, blue dice. Hey, 18. Investigation plus 4 from me, I believe. 22.
Okay. You know what? You didn't notice a correlation when you really look at it. You recognize some of them from when you dropped off the elephant.
Oh.
These are
So
circus people.
So they're free.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like they're
Okay.
not like. I mean, it's kind of the best gig that they can get right now, being who they are. But
Because the
like,
circus is like not allowed to be in town because of all that.
You hear me say, your ringleader fucking sucks!
so yeah. But you beat them up. You are you still sad or?
When I realize that as long as they're there because they want to be there, or like they're fighting on their own for their own money and coin and glory and whatnot, then it's okay. If they're just like humans being trafficked or people being trafficked for the entertainment of others while they get beat up, then it's a little less enjoyable.
Yeah, it's all people that are there fighting for their own coin. Whether or not like this is like what they would really want to do is another story. But like they're okay enough with it. So probably in similar situations as you, like probably would be happier doing other things. But sometimes you gotta punch
When we
people.
get done fighting, I go get a milk and I drink it.
Milk.
Do I have any winnings from the fighting?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you make 75 gold.
Oh, that's a lot.
It is.
Great.
But
Not as much as he made.
I just made 200 gold.
I mean, you doubled it, so you made like 100 gold.
Yeah.
But you made almost as much as he did.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
nice. All right. Thoughts on today's session? Because I think that's a good place to stop.
It was a really funny session.
I
The
know.
band's back together.
I was thinking, I was
happy.
like there was a lot of laughter in comparison to the past few sessions.
Well,
So it's because we only had half party as well. So.
And there's a lot more role playing will lead to more laughter usually than like fighting will.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that fighting has to be super serious, but like when you're in combat and you're rolled for initiative and everything, it's just a little more like, what should I be doing next? What are they doing? Trying to keep track of all the stuff that's going on, as opposed to like, why'd you guys kill that guy? And then you guys getting mad because like I'm being on my high horse or that's just it's easier to role play and have fun and make fun of each other and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like to play characters that create laughter whenever possible.
If you have any questions, chat, you can.
Yeah, also
feel
we
free.
have chat up, so if you guys have any thoughts you
Yo.
want to,
Please
then
share.
If you have an idea on what my steed should be.
Yeah, a bigger owl.
A big,
Oh my
A
god! If
bigger
you get
owl.
if you get like a barn owl, I'm going to find a way to get whatever the biggest owl in existence is and like write it.
well, there's like a list on the Find Steve, so
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to go off of that list. So on that list, I could probably go for elk.
Yeah.
But
Well, my thing is, I'm happy to reskin, so long as it's the stats of whatever.
yeah.
So like one
No
time.
dragon?
I mean, you can have the stats
I
of
want
an
to
elk.
ride Tiamat.
Oh god. Well,
Could ride a dragon that has
the stats of an
stuff
elk.
and
A
of an elk.
CR30 Tiamat.
Yeah. It's funny. I wasn't sure how the crazy old guy was gonna. If you were to like, all right, yeah, whatever, because I had a couple of like things that we could have done if you decided to just blow him off. But what was funny was one of my friends is a total troll of a DM, and I wasn't sure whether or not to add this as a potential like first quest to do. And I was playing with him yesterday, and I was like, my friends are in the city right now. What would you do if you were the DM? And he's like, just throw a crazy old person at them. That's what I would do. And I was like, good, because that's what I have planned. So. Like, what is it? Like, usually you can more or less trust the DM, or like in a sense
No,
that
you
like.
should never trust the DM.
But
Never trusted him.
But here's like more or less you do trust when I say like, oh yeah, like it's an open room, or like yeah, you hear one person, on the other side of the door.
I mean, you have to interpret the DM as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like reading a person.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think that's what's great about like the design of the insight check is, as far as that old crazy person knew, he was telling the truth.
Yep.
Right.
And
But he was not trying to deceive you.
Yeah, he was not deceiving us.
Yeah, I think that I think I wouldn't say it's like not about not trusting the DM. It's like more about just trying to like role play like what your character does. Like even if you were like snickering, like you hear only one person on the other side of the door. Hi. Like when I roll like a really low like perception check or insight check, I try at least as a player to just role play out as if that is the information my character believes and does.
Yeah.
And I know that like when it comes to sometimes when you're DMing or when you're watching like an Adventure Zone or Critical Role, you can tell that the players are like, I rolled a bad perception check. Like,
so I see nothing. Like,
are like they like, so like I don't trust whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, well, if you did like an insight check and you rolled really bad, your character, in my opinion, perceived that they did their normal job, right? It's the same thing. If you go over 20, you shouldn't just automatically believe whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, are your perception or insight or whatever? Because like.
Well, like the insight that I had was like, and my character trusts his insight, right? Like that's one of the things about him himself that he trusts is his ability to read other people. Leia asked the wrong question, right? Like when making that insight check, and so like what it amounted to was you turned to me and you whispered like, are you going to kill him? Like, are you going to, like, are you trying to kill him? And my first answer was like, yeah, of course. But then when he realized they made a mistake, his first action was not to even check on the girl in the basement, but to heal the guy on the balcony, like you know, or in the loft. Which I'm really glad we were able to save him, by the way.
Yeah.
I felt real bad.
Because when you negatived his health by more than he had 20 HP.
I mean, Franz did that.
Yeah.
Franz can't help but do like a bajillion damage every time he swings his sword.
So like, for all intents and purposes, like he should have not been able to be revived.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like in my head, I'm just like, this person is going to go to the authorities and.
Oh no, Ash would have 100% gone to jail, and he would have been happy with that. Like he would not even have had tried to escape. Like if he makes that poor decision, then he made that poor decision, and that dude is dead because he made that poor decision, and so he will take whatever it is that the law.
Franz would have ran
so
fast.
fast.
And also like Ash would not have said anything about Franz. Franz just would not have been there.
I think what's interesting is like if Franz had not been hit, he probably would not have done anything. It's because he's just petty. He's like, you hit me, I hit you, I'll hit you harder.
I mean, Ash just 100% assumed that it was an enemy in the corner that needed to be dealt with, and there was no other explanation in that moment.
Yeah.
Because he's a giant ego. So if he is sure of something, then he is sure of something.
Because one thing that got me
For
thinking.
me,
Oh, go
it
ahead.
was really easy to be like, don't kill them.
Well, it's because what you always say.
Well, no, that is what I always say. But also, we thought that they might be changelings, right? So,
Yeah.
so I can be like, like we don't really know what's going on, but if they're changelings, I don't want to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was even easier for me to be like, we need to use restraint in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because like that was like saying shapeshifter was actually like part of like me as a DM trying to find a hook good enough where like even if you didn't believe the entire story, like if it was like, oh, your brother's there, or like, something in your backstory that would make sense.
Your
like,
mom's there.
I wasn't gonna say your mom's there because you wouldn't believe that she's there.
No.
Yeah. But like, so I chose shapeshifter because that's like ambiguous enough, but also enough of a hook where at least some of you would care about a shapeshifter.
Yeah. No, his mom wouldn't be anywhere that doesn't already have a gold leaf tea set. So.
Yeah.
That's.
But also you talking about like how Ash would just like, yeah, I did it, I'm guilty, I'm gonna do my time. Like there's so much in D&D where like the characters are above the law. Like when has anyone in a campaign ever gotten repercussions from?
So the thing.
You got repercussions like 2 weeks ago
Which one?
when you tried to steal something from the shop.
True. I'm thinking more than just like a slap on the wrist thing, like
Right.
when you murder Hobo, or so yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I don't have characters. Oh, go ahead, Leah.
So I mean, the thing is that there are characters that I have that would be like Franz, that would be like, no, I've been a thief my whole life. This is what I do. I don't deserve to go to jail for this. Like I was doing what I thought. And I don't want to speak for your character in that, but like this character is like, no, I thought that I was 100% right, and he has a tendency to go on his gut like that, and like he's just not. This character of any other character that I've ever had would just be. No, this was my fault. Like,
Yeah.
probably because of his mom. Because his mom is above the law, and he's like, like if he knows he's right about something, and he is right about something because people are being hurt or whatever, he has no problem killing people. It's just when he kills the wrong people.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Franz has no problem being wrong because he's mostly wrong. He just doesn't want to deal with any repercussions of being wrong.
Like you missed that City Hall. Do you want to describe?
Oh fuck! I thought it was like calling Inquisitors.
Actually, yeah, that was. Can you just?
Oh yeah,
because
because
it's a bit deeper than what we let
so
on.
the ring leader basically used a version of suggestion on me to get me to City Hall because he's like, we need to go to City Hall. I'm like, I'm not going to City Hall, and I just walked away. And he's then suggesting, he's like, we need to go to City Hall and talk. And so I failed my check. Off I go. And then the entire time I'm just like, fucking magic was used. Get the Inquisitors in here now. Because that's what Franz would do. And then find a way to make sure he was okay in the situation.
And then he died? Is that when he died?
No, this was a
No.
long time ago.
Okay.
No, it got resolved by basically just being like, fine, cool, I'll go to court. Just let me know the date. And I gave him a wrong name. And now he has a 400 gold bounty on his head.
That guy? Or you?
The ringleader.
Well, because he put a posting up for someone in the Thieves Guild to get the ringleader. Asked Joe to do a personal favor.
Gotcha.
And that's something I really would love to have resolved in the near future, but like, when's the next time you're coming back here? In the near future, at least. Like, yeah, it could be like a weekend game, but that's like 3 months, 4 months,
Yeah.
real life.
I'll let you figure that
So,
out.
You could always skip us ahead in time a little bit.
I have considered that, and we had to talk about time skips in terms of satisfaction. Like, oh yeah, you don't want to time skip over important things. Like right now, you're about to go to, up north, and yeah, we could time skip the travel up north, but like every part, it's hard. like every part that you had so far has been like you have an objective, so it's hard to skip over the objective in a time skip because then you don't have the satisfaction of doing the objective. But I do want to do a time skip at some point. But how long of a time skip? What stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's another story. Franz, like if we fast forward to 3 years, Franz is no longer the lovable 15-year-old. He's a adult.
I'm an adult.
So like, what does that do for his character, and like, how do you play your character differently after?
Yeah, I mean, you do a. I mean, there are so many different ways to do that. I mean, I had a DM that would require in between every level we spend 1 week equal to the level we're going to in downtime.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stay somewhere for that length of time. So like 5 to 6 would be 6 weeks somewhere. And that meant we did these like mini time skips where we had to like, where have you lived? What job have you had? Because after you get to like 15, after you get to level 15, like you have to spend 15 weeks there. At that point, we had like been gifted a castle and shit because we were like heroes or whatever. And so like part of one session was sitting down and saying, okay, so who's in charge of Castle Guard? Like, how do you do that? Like, and like, what does life look like when you're not adventuring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tricky from like for me from like a narrative standpoint because like I'm always like Shakespeare's always like gotta have the whole story in like 24 hours. So to me, I'm always thinking like of every like adventure as like being like a day, and that's usually how I plan it out. Like or at max like 2 or 3 days. And so it's interesting to think about it from like a completely opposite. Like let's think about this from a year's or weeks standpoint. Like our
#info cycle.
Like the current campaign that I'm DMing that Kelly's in is like I have like a chart on my computer on my sticky notes. I'll show it to you if it will load. Right here, where I've marked the days of each session. And it's like 1 day each session with an occasional 2 days. Like, and so it's like, their entire thing 1 to 5 has been 16 days.
I mean, and I think, yeah, so like, one of the things, so another one of the DMs that I had was everything was in real time. So, like, except for the actual sessions, like battle, obviously wasn't in real time.
Yeah.
But, like, if you had a week in between, then your characters also had a week in between. And so we would do, like, these mini downtimes every week.
I like that.
But it makes it feel like your characters are actually, like, it can help your characters feel like they're actually getting somewhere, like they're actually living their life beyond this adventure that they're having, which I, as a player, appreciate sometimes, not all the time. It depends on the campaign.
Just curious, so in that campaign, how long were the sessions typically?
So longer than the ones that we have here.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
That makes sense.
Right. Like when you're playing 4 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, and then when you have like that stretch also, it can be like, oh, we finished everything that was planned. Now we go back home and we have a couple weeks. As opposed to, I'm thinking of like when we're on like a streaming schedule, or for me, when I'm DMing during the semester, it's like 2.5 hour tight block. We might end like the skull rises. See you next week, like, right? And so it's like a week did not, happen during like the skull rising and attacking.
Oh, we'll come right back. Rain check. You're in process of rising into slow rise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's also different for a stream that's like 2.5 hours, right? But there, like, I had a character that adventured for 6 years, like it ended like the whole campaign. Like in campaign, it was 1.5 years that we played. Before the character was 6 years, plus like an age jump, so technically he was 9 years older. But and he ended up like saying, "Fuck it, I'm not adventuring anymore. I'm done. Peace, bye." And that was my last session with that character, was him coming to like, "No, I'm going to go to the castle. I'm going to run the fucking castle. Y'all can do whatever the fuck you're going to do. I'm fucking done." But
yeah, I feel like time skips become like a lot more necessary or possible, like in the later campaign parts, where it can be like, what the big bad guy is, but it's like we have to wait till the summer solstice, or like until this big event, until we can do something, and then so many times passing. Like I'm thinking about, I haven't watched season 1 of Critical Role, but that one's like that's like 130 episodes, and I know there's a lot of time skips like in the latter half of the series, and like and like some characters are just like there's like one character who like almost dies, and then like he's got like a daughter. And so he's like, I almost died. Like, I need to go spend time with my daughter. So that character just leaves, and the player just plays a different character for like a very long period of that campaign.
Well, and also they played that campaign like because they started mid campaign for season 1 Critical Role. So like they played that
makes
campaign.
It very hard to get into.
Right, just start with season 2.
Definitely start with season 2. If you're looking for more after watching all the episodes of our campaign, of course.
But so when that game was like 5.5 years or something total, like, which is insane.
Yeah, I think it like because we've talked a little bit off camera about the the possibility of the time. I think it really depends on like what kind of like what narrative reasons would there be for it, what would we want to do? Like I think it'd be interesting like what would it look like post Mayor and Joe's planned takeover if that was a success or a failure, either one? What would the capital look like after that? What would be adventuring in the capital, or what adventures would come out of that? I like that. Like that kind of stuff interests me. But right now, it sounds like we have like kind of like 3 threads right now. We have the north, we still have stuff in the capital, and then we have stuff in the south. And so, like to skip right now.
You still have that diary.
Oh, and we still have that fucking diary. Did we ever do anything with Nora?
No. You're about to.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the one from Vara.
Yeah. And we got Vara stuff. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So like right now, like a skip right now just seems like we would just be using it to mechanically make sure that like we're consistent with like travel time.
Right.
Which is less interesting than a different like world state.
I am really looking forward to Ash getting out of this goddamn city, though. He hates the city. He hates the city so much, and he hates who he is when he's here. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah. Yeah, my main thing is like there's so many threads that like you've done already that like I would love to see in a few years time, like the Dragonborn clan that you left. What's the wetlands gonna look like now that you took away the main thread? How is not going to grow? Which was pre you, but it's a thieves guild that is essentially like an underground library of magic trying to spread the knowledge of magic. So these things that like you may or may not have reason to come back to, but like in my head I know where they're going, and yes, depending on what you guys do in game may or may not affect other things. But right, going back to Fenry, is he okay after that earthquake?
Oh fuck.
I mean, I really like massive time skips in between campaigns. So like end campaign 1. You've come to some final arc piece, and then you have this like massive skip of like several years, and you have like one 5 to 8 hour session where like you get into who your characters are now 3 years later. That's one of the things that I find really sad about short campaigns is that it takes me a lot longer to get into character. Like, it still takes me the same amount of time every game to get into character as it would for a 4-hour game, and then I don't have to spend as much time there. I don't know. I mean, I love this game. It's a really different. This is the first time I've been on the player side of a 2.5 hour game.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been the DM.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, because of like my sole experience over the past year, being in 2 different Kelly campaigns and then being in DMing has been really short sessions.
Yeah.
So I can't, like, thinking of playing D&D for like 4 or 5 hours straight is like, I can't. I mean, I did like do some one-shots, and for my birthday I did like a 5-hour one-shot or something. But like outside of that, where I was just trying to tell one condensed story, it's hard. Like, to me, I'm like thinking like, yeah, a night of D&D is like 2 fights, like,
oh man,
and a little bit of role play,
Yeah, I'm in a 4-hour campaign, but we have like 6 players, so like
that's 2 fights.
Yeah, it's 2. Well, it's just fighting takes forever. We last game we fought a giant crab thing, and it took That was 3.5 hours, just getting through the turns.
No, so that is literally when I have a timer that I
Yep.
put on as a DM. If I have more than 5 players,
Mm.
and or if I have
The
more than
hourglass
3,
is so magical.
if I have more than 3 and I am in a short, like I have a really short time period, that there's just a timer and you better know what you want to do when it gets to your turn, because if you don't know by the end, I will choose something for you and we will move on.
Yeah. I've definitely been. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, go.
I've been blessed with like I've been running a group of 6 for 3-hour sessions for like the past 6 months, and like I'm blessed that like they're
Everyone's
pretty good.
on lockdown.
Everyone's going pretty good. And I think part of that might be because it's a shorter session. Everyone's just like in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's easy to stay in the zone for only a couple hours as opposed to like it's like 5-hour session. It's easy like we're fighting this big crab thing for a couple hours. Like I'm not really, it's easier to zone out.
Mhm.
But I also think like the DM can do a lot of different things. Like one thing that I'm always doing is when it's like Callie's turn, I'm like, Corey, you're next, and then we're
I
like
used that
while we're
this
doing.
past. I do on deck and double deck. So
Mhm. Yeah, you're on deck. Yeah.
Our DM has
the
all the
little
names
yeah.
put up on the DM screen and
Mhm.
moves the initiative order,
Yeah.
and that's really useful.
But figuring out how to do like time is so crucial. And like as a
Mhm.
DM, like the worst thing is like you not only are you like handling all the things the players are doing, but while they're doing it, you have to be thinking about what the monsters are gonna do. So you're not the one
Oh.
holding everything back. You're like, oh man, what is the mind flayer gonna do here? You have to
Yeah.
really like be like on your game. And for me as a DM, sometimes that can lead, in the past at least, has led me just completely flubbing like details. Like my
Yep.
players like fought like these like Grix, I think it was, and they were like resistant to like all the damage they were doing. But I was reading through it so fast and trying to keep up. I just didn't realize that like like the Grix should have been taking like half damage like this whole time from a lot of these weapons because like you're trying to juggle so much, and so it can be tricky.
Yep. That's why I like creating my own monsters in my head.
Mhm.
Like I have. So DM secrets. When I DM, I don't really give a shit about the rules for my enemies,
Mhm.
because often
Fuck
it's too much to hold in my head. Like you were
Yeah.
saying, like I cannot hold in my head what 6 enemies, all their different spells and everything they do, but I know who they are. And so like I can basically be like, this is the effect of the spell that is happening to you right now. Roll whatever thing that you need to roll, and if they have a high enough number, then they have a high enough number. And I have a basic idea of what those numbers are, so that I
Also helps
don't
with
have to.
metagaming.
What?
Helps with metagaming.
Yeah, because they can't look it up and be like, oh, but this only has 100 HP. I'm like, mine has 150. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Or like
Mhm.
like so for example, and it wasn't me making stuff up. It's just this particular character didn't have to do the normal things to cast a spell.
Right.
So when that person, the ringleader, cast the spell on Franz, I forgot who said it. I was like, oh well, didn't they say something? Did they do something? Like I would have stopped them. I was like, well, they didn't.
Right.
So and that's not necessarily metagaming. Like that is the canon where when you're doing spells, you will see it. But sometimes people are like, well, if that's suggestion, then I'm an elf. I'm immune to that, or whatever. And it's like, actually, it's not suggestion. It's a homebrew spell.
Yeah.
And it's not really to, like OP certain
No, it's more.
monsters. It's to create more of a threat to
Right.
have that.
Mhm.
And to know that the characters have to be flexible.
Yeah. I think it's good and important for like the players to be able to voice like that. Oh, I'm an elf, so like just remember
Yes.
that I have this thing about my character.
Yes. No, of course.
But I definitely also feel like it's a kind of like a toxic masculinity thing. Not saying that women can't do it, but where you're like, no, the rules actually state that I can't be affected by it. Like,
Rules
if the DM
lawyers.
says something,
Yeah.
that's
Rules
it.
lawyers.
That's what it
Yeah.
is, right? Like, you have to go with whatever the DM says, no matter how much you know the rules or anything like that. Because ultimately, the DM's Mind Flayer has 200 HP. You have to deal with it. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I mean, the thing too is like, as a DM, you also have to be mindful of who you have in your campaign, because like you don't want to do that too many times where you like override what the characters find fun.
yeah.
Because the more you
Yeah.
override them and steamroll them that way, it's
Mhm.
like, oh, now no one's having fun, and it's becoming a struggle more than it is like and not the good kind of struggle, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, and so I try to balance. Sometimes it works,
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't. Also, the sky is blue right now.
Yeah,
I
It's
know.
super
Sky-
weird.
sky
I'm watching
is
it's
crazy.
Nice.
I want to kind of continue on that. Like, so my wife is in the campaign that Kelly's a player in, and she has the spell Lesser Restoration, which is supposed to cure like diseases and stuff.
Right.
And she ran into 2 opportunities to use that spell. I'm trying to remember what the first one was.
Remember the other one's dagger spores.
Well, yeah. So one of them is like one of our characters in the campaign. His whole village was wiped out by this mysterious disease, and Kelly's, you keep
Yeah.
this to yourself.
Yeah.
But that's the disease that this one thing has. Now, if that disease was curable by Lesser Restoration, that would cause well, then why did this character's whole village die, right? Like, it wouldn't have made sense. So obviously it has to be like some sort of special disease. But, so she tried to use Lesser Restoration. I said, like, it didn't have the effect she wanted. And then there was another character. Oh, yeah, I remember the other one. It was, like, this old kobold who was just dying of old age. And she tried to use Lesser Restoration on him. And it didn't work. So she, like, approached me afterwards. Just like, oh, man, like, this is really, like, that was not fun for me. Like, having, like, I feel like I chose this spell. I wanted to be able to use it. It's a 2nd level spell slot, whatever. And, like, I used it, and then, like, nothing happened both of these times. And, so, like... And it feels bad as a DM because, like, I'm not trying to, like, ruin her fun, right? But at the same time, it's like I've got very good RP reasons why those spells wouldn't work. And so I think being a DM can sometimes... So then I, like, literally last week, I threw a poison that would kill a character at the party so that she could use Lesser Restoration for realsies this time, right? And then...
She used something else
She used something else instead. So it didn't even matter. But, like, so sometimes it's like, oh... You're an elf is immune to charmed. Well, I'm going to throw an actual charm at you, and you can have your advantage or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
make them feel like they're important and good at what they do.
And then the character that they built, the things that they put their time into, the numbers that they put their time into matter. Because, like, when it comes down to it, like, this character sheet is the physical manifestation of the character in your head. Like, it's the only physical part of, like, this imagined space, right? And it depends on your players, too, because some people hold that in higher esteem than others, etc. But, like... when players put time into putting something on the character sheet, I like to be able to throw stuff at them that they can, like, actually utilize those things that they put on the character
I was
sheet.
gonna say all of the mind flayer things were intelligence rolls, which is what my character is based around. So like anytime we like make an intelligence saving throw, like I was rolling like shit, but my +7 made me not beef it.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly. And a good rule of thumb is that I read this online somewhere, so sorry, anonymous person online, but they were basically, the person was saying, like, if your player has Fireball, they can just kill like a bajillion kobolds like that, right? That doesn't mean you just stop throwing kobolds at them because you know that they can, because you could be like, well, I need to balance this. If I throw a bunch of this thing at them, they're just going to wipe out with one fireball. It's not going to be fun. Sometimes you have to throw that at them because they took fireball so they could do that, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that whatever they are good at, sometimes you like challenge them and give them something that like, oh, you're good at killing lots of things. Well, what about one big thing, right? But then other times you got to be like, here's a lot of things. Go to town, right?
Well, and it's like important to make sure that like if you have that every character gets their time in the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
And if like you built your character around offensive spells and not around any of the other things, if they're not good at talking, if they're not good at any of that stuff, like that person needs that time when maybe they were the only person that did anything in that battle and they killed every kobold on the field, but like they got to do that time.
Yeah.
And like someone else gets to seduce every bartender in town, like a different time.
Can I make one closing comment?
Yep.
'Cause it's 5:01.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And kind of rounding back to like a conversation that we've been having also in this 30 minutes, like when you have a bigger group, it's, I think, a lot more important to make sure everyone feels like there's a thing that they're the one who's really good at this thing, and they get to excel at that and do that once in a while.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, having experience with Kelly and being in a group of 2, it becomes a lot less important because everyone's doing everything, right? And so I think it can... it's great advice to like do the things you're good at, but sometimes when it's like, even with us with the 3, it's less important. Like for like none of us are tanks, but I'm the tank. Like I guess right. Like it's a little easier.
I can tank now.
Yeah, you can tank.
I'm also a fighter.
Oh yeah. I forget your
I also have an 18
bard.
AC
Yes.
flat.
I forget.
Oh my god.
like you. I mean, so I don't like. I will go in last anytime you want me to. Ash as a person is just like, sure, I want to go first. Here's the door.
I think you got the status of tank before you had your ridiculous D6s, and you had like a lower AC, so like you were the tank
Yeah.
of like levels 1 through 3, 4, and then
Yeah.
Yeah,
now
when
it's,
you had Bogs, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. I have a bonus action heal, and then I had the highest
Right.
AC in the group, and I was the only one with a shield. And so for a while, like at least in our campaign, I guess I never thought you are. I mean, I don't know your AC, right?
Yeah, so one of
Em
the
doesn't
reasons
know
why
that.
I took fighter, like total metagaming, was because when I was watching you guys like trying to figure out who I was gonna play, watching the back episodes, I was like, wow, they don't have anyone. They don't have anyone that can do that. Like, that's fine. I can make this happen.
Well, that's
I'll
part of the
dual
reason I
class.
took Arcane Trickster. I just love Arcane Trickster
Right.
as like a subclass because
Yeah.
it allows you to fill in niches that
Right.
other
Yeah.
archetypes
And
just
that's-
don't let you do. So like I
Yeah.
can three level 1 spells, shield, shield, shield. I have nothing else really to use those for.
Right.
The shield, 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 and then I have Uncanny Dodge
Right.
for every other reaction if I
Yep.
somehow burn all my spell slots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome.
I have
Well,
D8 health. Rogue should not have a D8 health.
a what?
I know. I think that they should because
No,
like the
yeah.
idea of the rogue is that you're getting really close up a lot of the time, and so they need that hit die because if you're fighting like a bunch of orcs with big axes, you're gonna start getting hit, and it's gonna hurt real bad.
I would say like it makes sense levels 1 to 5 to have the D8,
Mm-hmm.
And then, it gets a
and then
little
after that
excessive.
it's just like I take half of all damage.
5e like upped everyone's minimum dice almost.
Like, weren't wizards
all
like
of the-
D4 at one point?
Yeah.
I think also Uncanny Dodge is kind of like in video games and like a lot of gaming things. There's like things that spike.
Yep.
At 5, it's really, really good. And I'm not saying it's worse, but when you hit like level 10 or 12 enemies, they're gonna have like 3 or 4 attacks a turn, and they all dish that onto you. Your Uncanny Dodge is not mitigating half the damage. at
No,
that point,
just
right?
one. It's
so
because it
yeah.
beats up my reaction.
It's
But that's why
mitigating like
shield was so
20%.
good.
Yeah, of course.
All
Well,
right. Well, good conversation.
Good,
I wish
vibrant
we could
conversation
stay
today.
longer. But we got places to be, and we could continue this next week. Thank you so much for
Nice.
joining
Thanks for all
us.
tuning in, everybody.
Maybe if I can stop this. All right. Actually, bye now.
Bye bye.